Oh, beautiful shot there. Nicely done. Gets the pin.
How was that beautiful? Onside kick, and it's recovered by Hastings.
And he's rung up for strike 3.
Doblowy! Touchdown Raiders!
Tonight's starting lineups, first for the Jets of Robbinsdale Cooper, the Hawks head coach is Willie Howard.
From McNamara Stadium at Todd Field, it is the final week of the 2023 Minnesota High School regular season in football as we bring you Week 8, Hastings taking on Robbinsdale Cooper. I am Nick Tucker alongside Owen Ely. We have been here for a majority of your home games throughout the season. I want to thank Pete and Johnny for filling in when we were out for a week, but other than that, we have kind of been right around this team as much as we can be, and we are excited to see this one tonight as the Hastings Raiders meet up with Robbinsdale Cooper. And it's not necessarily an excitement factor of, hey, we're really familiar with this team, this is a big rivalry game. No, Owen, this is actually more excitement for what could happen here in the future. And when I say could, there's lots of variables that are going to play into the next 24 hours or so, figuring out who won what games, where, when, and how that pieces together every section throughout the state of Minnesota as playoffs will begin next week. Of course, the Raiders' regular season. Now, not everything factors into sectional playoff prognostication when it comes to the QRF, but the Raiders with 5 losses, of course, the 2 wins, one coming against a Two Rivers team who has come on strong here at 6-1 this year. That game we had right here on HCTV after this one. You might want to check that one out too. And of course, the big win against Cretin-Derham Hall, what that meant to the entire community on homecoming. Couple tough losses in a row to 2 very good teams. And we have played 3 teams that are all kind of ranked in the top 10 to 15 in the state. And those are 3 of our losses, Owen. And tonight, the Raiders have something to prove because they have a strong secondary. Cooper has a fantastic passing offense, and something has got to give. All of that amounts into that excitement that we bring here onto the field tonight.
Oh, there's no question, and just to touch on the strength of schedule you see there, I mean, well, we'll take a look at Robbinsdale Cooper's schedule here, and yet again, it's another team with a lot of green on the screen, and you know that's kind of been the nature of the beast for Hastings. You look, they've only played 1 team that's been below 500. That was Cretin-Derham Hall. I mean, they've lost to perennial contenders like Owatonna, Matamida. You mentioned Two Rivers at 6-1. Robbinsdale Armstrong is number 8 in 5A. St. Thomas number 6. So, you know, you could look at 2-5 versus 5-2, which is what Robbinsdale Cooper is, but I think it's a lot closer than people might realize. And that's such a good point talking about the secondary too, because that's really the strength of this team. And, you know, it looks like Robbinsdale Cooper has a very fast receiver core.
Right.
And I don't know if that's the strength of the Hastings secondary, so they play their cornerbacks press really close to the line. That's been a big adjustment this year. And I have full confidence that they can tackle them and wrap them up, but how do they handle over the top? Because that's really going to be where the sausage is made for either team.
Initial contact will be key. You know, whoever's there on the first hit, you know, hold on for dear life till the boys come to clean up the rest of it. It's going to have to be team tackling tonight. You're not going to be able to always make the one-on-one plays. Are you going to have to? Yes, you will. But you got to make sure that if one guy has them wrapped up, the rest of the blue and gold, or all blue again tonight, as we should say, with the blue and blue again here this evening, as they featured that on homecoming. That's become kind of a fun thing for the boys to have. But you got to come out, you got to play tough, you got to play fast, and you can't get into a sled race with these guys. That's the one thing too. You don't want to find out what happened, you know, especially with a team like Jefferson. We know Jefferson still has, even without Daniel Freitag, a lot of different guys that can make things happen. Both teams lost 1-possession games to that very same team, and all you need to do is make one more play. These 2 teams tonight, Owen, have a chance to make that one more play and really take a leapfrog jump into whatever section each team is hoping to see tomorrow morning once those standings come out.
And this is a passing offense, so let's look at the pass rush for Hastings, because the Robbinsdale Cooper Hawks do not have a mobile quarterback when you look at the stats, so he might be in the pocket a little more than they're used to.
Want to welcome CCX Media from up in the Robbinsdale area as well for joining us for this one, as we're We're at McNamara Stadium at Todd Field. Final game of the regular season, and the ball is in the air. It'll be taken at the 6 by the Raiders, and that will be taken here by number 7 for Hastings, Cade Kimmis, who's had a really good season in all facets. Anywhere he's been asked to make plays, he has. In the return game, as a receiver, as a running back, even if they need him defensively, number 7 has shown brightly throughout the year, and he'll be a big factor in what the Raiders want to get done here tonight as they come out with a lineup that, again, is going to have to kind of push Robbinsdale Cooper around. Get mean early and take your field over early in this game. And Lucas Foss going to be one of those guys to get it done. The Raider QB is now out of the shotgun with one running back to his right. Who gets the carry? It's Cole Zion up the middle, and he'll gain a couple. Give him about 3, and we'll take that positive carry for the Raiders to start things as we are underway now at Todd Field. Moon shining. It's a crescent moon, little fingernail moon off to the south and southwest. Raiders at home for the final time during the regular season. Now we hope there will be more, but wins and losses by other teams in the section, everybody has a little part to play tonight to get us home Tuesday night. Here's the handoff this time to Zion again, and Cole Zion falls ahead to about the 35. Will gain about 4 more, 3rd and short for the Raiders here on their first drive of the game. Quick update too, Vincent Zion has switched his number from 11 to more of an ineligible number because he hasn't been playing tight end as much. He will now wear 56 and play both sides of the football in the interior. Out of the gun. Raiders 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. Running back in the backfield, stationed to the right of Foss, is Zion. And they'll throw on 3rd down, and that's caught for a 1st down as Matt Foss makes the catch for Hastings and will move the chains. Quick pass, and he had a little mustard on that one, and Matt Foss brings it in for a big 1st down. Let's move the chains. No 3 and out to start things, and we got to take each positive step in the right direction as we get it, and that's the first one, my man. We'll take that, Owen.
No question. I'd also watch Cole Coteria, the right guard. He was shaken up a little bit on that play, but he's going to stay in the game, and that's so true. That's been such an issue for Hastings, is just moving the chains. So it's very important that they move the chains here on this first drive.
Move the chains, keep the ball, control the clock, and control the game. Sounds like an easy combination, but you got to find all of the intricate facets of the game, and right here the running game pushing again for another 2 or 3 yards. And again, Cole Zion, who got a lion's share of the carries 1 week ago. He did go over 100 yards last week against St. Thomas Academy, and remember, this is his first full year of playing running back, so to have him come in here and really showcase what he's been able to do so far, including that 100-yard performance 1 week ago on the road in a rainy place and a tough place to play at that was very impressive.
Well, you know, there was a big gap in the run game coming into the year, and we weren't quite sure who was going to fill it, and Zion has filled it very nicely, and he's also returning next year.
And he'll get the ball again, right back up the middle, shakes the tackle, and then kind of right back into the same arms of the same fellow who was hanging on for dear life. That was number 9, Tony Coley, and he will make the stop, and the junior will keep it to a 2-yard gain. It looked like the first, as you watch the replay, kind of hit that first line, but then Coley stays on, pulls him down sideways towards the Hastings bench. Just needed to shake one little extra hand there, and he might have been out for 10, 12, 20 yards. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you know, looking at this Raiders offense, you'll take anything positive on any play, but yeah, if it would have cut to the outside, potentially something big there.
Raiders ride the right hash here as they go left to right on your TV screen, and here is Foss back to pass out of the shotgun, puts the pass up deep, and just missed. The outstretched hands of Cade Kimmis, and he was off to the races, and you and I just talked off the air, Owen, the Raiders would love to have a big play for score. They have not had one this season. That would have been it. That would have electrified this place, and unfortunately now, after we get a 1st down, the Raiders now will have to punt left to right.
And that was all set up, too. What a block by Cole Zion to stop that interior pressure right up the middle, and you're totally right, and that would have been their first big passing game play of the season. We're so used to that with Johnny B.
He was gone. Had he made that catch, is this one. Another great punt by Zion that will go to about the 20. That's just fine with us. So right around 80 yards to go for Cooper in their first offensive drive, coming up right to left on your screen. And that'll be coming up in just a moment with 8:40 to go here in the first quarter. We are scoreless at McNamara Stadium at Todd Field in Hastings for Week 8 of the Minnesota high school football season. There's Dana Strain, head coach, and he again has brought this squad to an opportunity to, again, possibly host a home playoff game on Tuesday. Cooper kind of works the same offense Hastings does, mirror image. Raiders shouldn't have any problems recognizing some of these very plays that they would run in practice, and right there out of that shotgun/pistol offset, they will gain 3 yards on the opening carry, and I'm going to say that probably fewer times than I have in any of the other games we've had this year, because this Cooper offense likes to pass, Owen.
There's no question about it. You look at the stats, I mean, they're throwing for 177 passing yards a game, which doesn't sound like a lot if you think about college or NFL, but at the high school level, that's quite a good amount.
Great job by the Raiders, swarming in on the tackle as Brady Nickel got in there with Barrett Boardman. And again, the speed of the Raiders causing some issues in the backfield here is that swarming front. Now, we have talked about this wonderful secondary all season, but the front, as you'll see right here, as Nickel got that first line of penetration in there and cleaned up the rest of it. You had 5 Raiders, and we talked about that. Get the first guy there and get the rest of the troops to be there.
They just stick on you. I mean, and they don't let go. Gang tackling has always been a strength of this Raiders defense the last handful of years.
3rd and 7, audible at the line. The cornerback, Cam Fox, back to pass, gets hit as he throws, but he throws up a beauty, and that one's going to be knocked away. What a great play in the secondary. Again, Hastings shining in the defensive backfield. This time, Blake Vanderhoff, multi-sport athlete for the Raiders. He will force 4th down, and the teams will trade punts here on their first drives of the game. What a great play there. Just stationed perfectly was Vanderhoff.
You know, I think sometimes we forget about how great this secondary is just because you don't see too many pass-heavy offenses. And I'll tell you what, if they would have thrown that to the left side to Emmanuel Carmo, that probably would have been a 80-yard touchdown. Speed for the Hawks is very deadly. The Raiders are lucky they didn't get burned there.
Snap good, punt not so much. I don't know if a Raider might have even gotten a finger on this, but this will give the Raiders an extremely short field. As that punt didn't go too far, and Emmanuel Carmo will kind of trot back into his now defensive huddle, not happy with the punt, but we will be happy with it for a short field. And, you know, this is your opportunity. You get the ball back after a punt. Not only did you play good defense, you forced the punt, you've also gained yards from where you punted it from. That's called winning the field position battle, and right now you got to slam this thing right back down their throat if you're Hastings.
Oh, it's so important for Hastings, and Carno has been a great punter this year. He's averaged about 40 yards a punt, so you have to score here because Hastings has been down early and often in a lot of their games, and you're basically starting in the red zone here.
We need a big blue and gold snowball to get her rolling here, and let's see if we can do it here on a quick screen. This is out to Matt Foss, makes the catch, 30 to the 25, taken down there, gain of about 5, 6, depending on the spot. Actually, that's going to be caught by Esterby. 88, not 86. Old eyes factoring in on that one, but a great catch nonetheless. As Matty Hill says, gain of 5, so good to see my buddy here again today. Good to see him doing well. And, of course, that voice here being almost as recognizable as the one and only and the best in the business, Jarl Olsen, for so many years. 6:37 to go, and right hash again. The Raiders work the shotgun offset. Right handoff will go to Zion, who won't get anything. He'll actually be thrown back. This will be a loss of maybe 1, if not 2, depending on where they spot it. Probably about 1. But now, again, you're looking at 3rd and 6 or so. This could very well be 4-down territory, although we have a weapon down on our sideline, and the Raider kicker, Jack Sieben. So this is kind of an interesting spot here. 3rd down. Now they're going to say 4 on the screen. That's not going to be true. It's going to be about 3rd and 6, and they'll switch it there. And now we will await a big 3rd down.
Massive. I mean, negative plays have been especially destructive for Hastings this season in terms of moving the chains.
Shows kind of a blitz here off the corners We'll see what they do running their front. A little bit of a three-man front this time. Snap was low. Foss recovers, has an open man. It's caught Cloutier. He goes ahead to the 15. That is a first down. And what could have been, not so good, turns into first down. Raiders into the red zone. And now Hastings in business at the 15-yard line. And there is number 9. And we need him to have a big game tonight.
They've been having a lot of success passing it to the sidelines, and throughout the year they've had trouble passing it down the middle. So maybe they're finding something here in terms of the passing attack.
Foss, gun, offset left this time. 2 receivers wide to the left, 1 near side right, and the handoff goes to Cole Zion. If he could break that tackle, he's going to get some big yards, and he will still just carry a tackler back to the line of scrimmage. He might have gotten about a half a yard, but better than negative yards. However, it is second down and about 10 again.
Short gain of the play, second down.
The Raiders are showing their physicality with Zion running the ball, and with Cloutier. Cloutier did not go out of bounds willingly on that catch on third down, kind of put the hit on number 25 there on the defense. So,
17 receptions for Jack, and I know he would like to have more. And we'll see if we can factor him into a big play with the Raiders at 2nd and 10 from the 15 of Cooper. Their deepest penetration into the Cooper zone here is the handoff back up the middle. And really a nice little train of blockers there will carry the Raiders inside the 10-yard line as Ryan Clemens with some power running. And he'll get about 5. So 3rd and 5 from about the 5. Where are we at here? The 5, 10, 12, where are we at? 11. 4:36 to go.
Well, this is an interesting adjustment because the Raiders have been testing out the physicality of this Hawks defense, and it's interesting they put Clemens in and start to power rush because I think they feel like they can play some bully ball here against the Hawks.
That would be fun to see with Clemens in the backfield, offset to the right. Out of the shotgun, Foss on the pass left side. That thing was dangerously thrown and almost intercepted, looking for Brady Nickel, who is playing tight end for Hastings. This will bring up 4th down and well within the range of Jack Sieben if Hastings would like to go for 3. But right now, as it stands, it looks like the Raiders are going to keep that offense out here on 4th down and 6 with 4:15 to go here in the first quarter and no score.
Yeah, anytime you're throwing to the outs, it does come with a price because there's an increased chance of that ball getting the route getting jumped. But yeah, they don't seem content to take the 3 points here, even though I think that's a pretty large certainty that Sieben could make it. So they're playing to win the game.
Early on. 4th down. Raiders will go for it. From the 11, back to pass Foss. He's gone to the end zone, and it's going to be incomplete. Burdick in the vicinity, the pass knocked away. Nice play, though, in the secondary as well, as the Hawks had a couple players there, including number 21, Mike McCrownsey. And that one tipped away, actually off the fingertips of Young, who got it there before the actual pass could have made it to Burdick, so he really had no shot nonetheless. And now we'll turn it back over to Cooper. Again, a longer field this time. But the 2 teams scoreless.
Well, I'm not sure if that wasn't intended for Brady Nickel further back in the end zone.
Fox right, pass caught. And he got to get on him right away and shakes the tackle onto the right side. That's going to be a first down. Dalton Gurley with the grab for the Hawks, and that'll move the chains.
Tuck, I got to be honest with you. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but I would have liked to have seen them take the points because you were basically gifted the field position. You might as well take something,
right,
get points on the board, get that goose egg off, and kind of feel like you got something there. I mean, it's 2020, but...
Right. No, I agree. Points come at a premium here sometimes, as Willie Howard, former Minnesota Viking D lineman, head coach of this Cooper team. This one thrown up, great pass, but into coverage, it's intercepted. Intercepted by Hastings and Cade Kimmis. He's already made a big play here on a return. This one out left side 30, and he'll be out of bounds at the 28-yard line. So Cade Kimmis, interception at midfield, returns it for about 22 yards. Hastings gets it right back. Now let's get some points on the board as the Raiders have it deep again in Cooper territory.
Tuck, it's all next man up. You look at Kimmis, he was not a starter at the beginning of the year. You look at Boardman. Boardman was the one that caused the pressure.
Yep.
We talk about this all year long. We talk about assists. Watch 37 right up the middle. He's going to lay down a pretty sizable hit on him. That causes the errant throw. And then we have elite cornerbacks and safeties, and that resulted in an interception.
And we can play center field like that. If our coverage is like that, fine. But what you also saw is off his back foot, Fox has a bomb. He's got a good arm. So you're going to have to make sure that even if he's throwing off his back foot or in trouble, you get the coverage there, you're going to have an opportunity to pick a pass off or two. This one handed off. Back up the middle, Cole Zion. He'll rumble ahead for 2. And that'll be about it. So they'll split the hashes here as the Raiders backed into the huddle with 2nd down and 9 to 3:15 to go in a pretty brisk moving first quarter of play, no score.
Well, listen, even if Fox throws a 50-50 ball 50 yards down the field, there's still a 50% chance that that's completed for a huge gain.
Right.
So, yeah, it's the secondary here has to be on their A game.
But we can't go without saying we like our 50% with our guys in the secondary too. And they have played so well throughout the year. 2:51 to go. Here's the clock runs. First quarter. Fake the jet sweep. Give it up the middle instead and open that little hole in the middle for Zion to get about 4, maybe 5. So again, you're back to 3rd down and about 5 or so from that same spot. We can almost hit rewind on our broadcast and just kind of set it up here as Cole Zion averaging 5.68 carries, yards per carry in his 3 touchdowns. I mean, you're probably not going to do that here on 3rd down, but boy, oh boy, the Raiders would love to find a way to get right back in that red zone and this time finish with points.
I think it's all about matchups, and this defense is just so speedy that I think this game might place a greater emphasis on a bigger back like Clemens.
And we'll see the tag team back and forth in that backfield. And this one's going to be fumbled, and the only thing Zion can do is fall on it. We're looking at 4th down in about 10 now after the fumble, so there is an error on that particular play, and that's the things we're talking about that Hastings just cannot have right now. And they do it here, and now they're going to bring Jack out to try one here. Nope, the offense is coming back out. It looked for a moment that they were bringing in other personnel to maybe go for a long field goal. There's not much wind, if any, tonight.
It would be the perfect night to kick field goals if you were so inclined.
Raiders will go for it. 4th down from the 29 of Cooper. Again, trying to come away with points this time. Back to pass. Pressure comes. Foss, plenty of time, overthrows it. It's intercepted. He had plenty of time. Just rushed the throw, or not sure. We're going to have to take a peek at what happened there, but he had all the time in the world. Great protection. Intercepted by number 5, Samaji Young, and he has been really good in the backfield defensively for Cooper. He gets a pick here, but the thing is, with that pick, he probably shouldn't have grabbed that ball, because now Cooper is going to be down inside the 5 instead of having the ball right around the 30. So important. Yeah.
That's a high IQ versus not so high IQ play.
Yep.
It's better just to take the field position, but that was a beautifully thrown ball. It was just off target by about 10 yards.
Can the Raiders make something happen here defensively? The handoff, just trying to get some room out to the 4 or 5 maybe. We'll see who the ball carrier is. It gets up off the bottom of the pile. And that was 32 that time, and that was Demarion Hoskins.
At least the silver lining is every single possession that the Hawks have, it is with worse and worse field position. So that's kind of the Raiders. That's how they play football. I mean, eventually it's going to go in the end zone if they keep pushing it back like that.
Saw Hoskins. He too is at. Oh, there's the Raiders in. They had him for a sack, and this, I don't know if it's going to be. Is this going to be a flag here for intentional grounding? I don't know. The far side, the official was looking as if he was pointing that there was a receiver in the vicinity. If he was in the grasp, and they would have called that a safety if there was intentional grounding. Let's take a look again. Quick out. And they said, no, we're not going to throw it. Fakes it instead. Gets taken down by Nickel, and the throw went out to that far side. But they're going to end up saying that that's just going to be an incomplete pass. So 3rd down, 8 to go from the Raider 5. Cooper with their backs against their own end zone. Back to pass Fox. And again, the Raiders will send late pressure, and that gives him enough time to find his man for a 1st down. That one caught by Samaj Young, and this time kind of grabbed his knee as he was coming up, but looking maybe cramped up just a little bit. But what a big 1st down with kind of adversity all over them from the huddle to the line, and end up making a play like that. Boy, that really gets the Cooper sidelines going, and now a huge 1st down.
Well, that's a 2-point swing and about 25 yards between that potential safety a play ago to breaking out of your, well, certainly breaking out of your own end zone there.
Handoff this time, not fooling anybody. Hoskins thrown down immediately in the backfield by Hastings. Lucas Sorensen, and the senior leader shoots in. And what a play by Sorensen, and we've been accustomed to seeing this the past couple of years now for the blue and gold.
You're really seeing the power for Hastings here. I think they need to play this game very, very physical, which is kind of odd to say because they've always been the smaller team throughout the season and relied on their speed, but I think they might need to rely on some bully ball, some bully tactics, and power here.
A 30-second break and we'll be back. Raiders and Hawks scoreless in Week 8 of the Minnesota high school football season on Hastings Community TV. Always cool to see what Bax does with all of those posters before the game. Just awesome. And you see a lot of those on social media. As we welcome you back to McNamara Stadium at Todd Field. Nick Tuckner, Owen Ely. It's no score after the first quarter. Hastings and Cooper. Cooper with the ball here. They're going to flip one out on second down, incomplete. Screen pass and a lot of room to roam ahead of him. And that one incomplete, intended for Chris Oates, and he knows that he had probably the big play of the game right there instead. Drops it harmlessly in a 3rd and very long, 3rd and 12. Raider defense has a chance to do a little flexing and maybe force another punt here. But Cooper, like we said, dangerous as always. They got so many different weapons. You can't zone in on just one. Another big 3rd down early, this time for Cooper.
Yeah, there's no question that would have been a big play because Gurley was never even a target. He was just out there to block downfield, and it would have been basically one-on-one in open space.
Back to pass, Fox, edge rush, swallowed up from behind! Brady Nichols sacks him! And Fox thrown down, and the Raider edges, and their pressure has been nothing short of spectacular through the first 12 minutes.
Again, I got to give the assist to the secondary because the secondary was white-knuckling on the receivers so that they were blanketed, nowhere to go, stuck in the pocket a little too long, tremendous pressure, results in the sack.
Assist Lucas Sorensen. My gosh, has he been a menace tonight. Defensively for Hastings, there might not be a better player out there than 54. He's on a mission. This is a high snap. Pulled down. Raiders were almost there. They had to force one, and I don't know if he got enough, that, well, more than what he wanted. As Young watches it again, Carmo, I should say, watches it go out of bounds, and he's like, well, that ain't bad. And he's looking for potentially some sort of a flag. Let's take a look here and see if the Raiders ran into him.
I'm so surprised that was not blocked.
No, there was no running into the kicker or anything. That was just football. And he's asking the official, and he's kind of saying, nope, they didn't touch you really. I mean, you might have had some post-play bumping, but that was about it. So good job by the Raiders special teams. They'll force another shorter field. This time from 45 yards out, they'll work.
In fact, they kind of let off a little bit. I feel like if they had a little less regard for the punter, that probably would have been blocked.
A block, sure. And the Raiders have now had 2 where they've seriously pressured Carmo. Jet sweep. Cloutier, and they haven't run that all that often, and the Hawks sniffed that out. Again, that was maybe a good time for that one, but unfortunately the Hawks right there if you're a Raider fan, and heck of a play. Loss of 5 on the play, on the tackle. And zooming in there to make this play there was Carmo, who's been all over the field in all facets again.
Tuck, I just don't think you're going to beat this team with speed. They're so fast.
No, it's not going to happen. Like you said, some thumping might be in order here. You know, if you're going to pass between the hash marks and utilize the Matt Fosses, and we've seen Esther be out of the slot, do the same thing. Out of the shotgun, Hastings again offset back. Here's a pass on a little screen. And that one caught by Esterby, and he will gain just a couple back. And now we're looking at third and very long, although we are on the right side of midfield. The Raiders are just pedestrian offensively and unable to get anything going. Even in enemy territory, they're going backwards. And now third down, 14 yards to go. And you see right there, just unable to escape.
These two-way players for Robbinsdale Cooper are tremendous. Young and Carno and Gurley. I mean, they have some real big players that play on both sides of the ball, and you just saw that on that last defensive play.
Yeah, some of these guys, juniors, sophomore. I mean, there's some young guys, too, that are making an impact early on for Cooper. Out of the gun, Raiders, big third down. Foss will pass, had some speed on it, and then a hit to the head there towards the end of the play. Incomplete for Burdick. Still probably wouldn't have been a first down, but that'll bring the Raiders in to now have to try a punt. And Vincent Zion will try to pin them deep, as we really are definitely now in a field position type of affair here tonight at Todd Field.
Well, at least the silver lining there was he kind of threw that ball down and away where only his receiver could get it, because otherwise that might have been a hospital pass.
This one's going to be motion against. Oh, they're going to say this is actually going to be against Cooper. Somebody lined up across. Now, it's not going to be enough, I don't think, to bring the offense back out. Or will it?
Well, it's all the mentality at that point.
Coach Strain was kind of looking over towards Coach Cook like, well, what do you think of this? You know, and Raiders are saying, no, we're still going to go ahead and punt this thing away.
Vincent Zion in punt formation for the Raiders.
It's a good snap. Vincent has it, lets her rip. Good kick. And that'll take a bounce. And this is going to go down inside the end zone for a touchback. Boy, that almost pinned him extremely deep once again. But unfortunately for the Raiders, the bounce went the wrong way. But Vincent Zion, a good boot for Hastings.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit too far of a roll there. I mean, and that play's bigger than you think, especially, I mean, this entire game is nothing but field position. So
really?
The difference between inside the 5 and 20 is massive.
Coach Howard there trying to get the troops rolling here as they'll take over on offense. Cooper on the handoff, and then big play up the middle for a first down is running into three Hastings tacklers up the middle. Was number 24, and that's Amari Davison, and he's a sophomore.
Davison, the ball carrier.
So we're seeing more of the running backs than we are the receivers, and we thought we'd see a lot more of the fellas on the outside than we have the backs, but boy, they're making an impact, and one of the biggest plays of the game for either team.
This could be a really, really good team next year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're already a 5-2 operation this year, so don't get me wrong,
right.
But wow, there's some pieces to like here on this Hawks team.
Another sophomore and Young catches the screen but trips over the turf monster far side and ends up gaining about 5, and now it's 2nd and 3. So a gain of 7 officially, says Manny Hill. 2nd down, 3 to go. Ball stationed at the Cooper 44 left hash. Shotgun, call it pistol, offset right. 2 receivers, short side left, 1 to the right, and that's where Fox rolls. He puts it up over the head of everybody, and that was nearly intercepted. The only one that had a chance to make the catch was Sawyer Chumsland, and could have gave the Raiders the ball right back to where they had it when the last drive was killed. So Hastings again in the secondary, forcing issues, but the Raiders up front causing the problems to let the secondary clean up. And boy, this teamwork defensively has been paying dividends so far.
That's a tough equation there for Fox. I mean, it's pretty hard with defenders in your face. It's pretty hard to have accuracy when you're rolling out, and it was just not set up for the Hawks to have success on that play.
Full house backfield offset, and Brady Nickel was not fooled at all. They're going to throw him back at least 5 yards, if not more, to force 4th down. When they threw that extra back in the backfield, the Raiders knew exactly what they were doing, and that's all film study during the week. Hastings knew. They stacked it up. They knew where the ball was going, and the Raiders absolutely stack it up. And Brady Nickel, too, man. We've said his name a few times this evening, and he's made some big plays in some crucial times of the game.
And that was a gang tackle, but I think Nickel would have got him down on his own.
Right.
You can see when they're powerful. When they tackle them, they're throwing them to the ground.
Again, not a great punt at all. This is going to be stationed somewhere around midfield, maybe about the 42, 43-yard line. I'm going to say 40. All right, so it's going to be from the Raider 40. They'll have 60 yards to go this time to try to put the first score of the game on the board. Kind of lonely. 2 goose eggs up there. As you see,
no.
Oh, yeah, right. Thanks, guys. Beer Stube. Anybody want to run a heart steak over or a Reuben or both to the press box, we would appreciate that for all the plugs they've gotten throughout the year.
Only fair.
They haven't cranked up I'm waiting for the fans to turn on so we start getting the waft at halftime.
It's coming.
It's coming. Out of the shotgun. Hopefully a Raider touchdown is coming as well. Out of the gun, handing it off to Cole Zion. He gets through that first line of defense and falls ahead for 1, maybe 2. And still, the Raider offense just kind of here right now, and that's about it. We thought early in the game we saw some good things, moving the ball a little bit here and there, both through the air and in the ground, but now a lot of this 2-yard stuff, whether it's a short pass or a short run, Raiders got to start diversifying their portfolio here to kind of get something going.
Well, they just need to put points on the board, plain and simple. You can only do this for so long.
Fake the handoff. Foss will be pressured. He puts one up on the run. Had a man, but he kind of fell down along that far side. And the pass is incomplete, looking for Thomas McGinnis. And now third down again, and, 8, 10, 12, I mean, that's kind of getting to be, like you said, kind of getting old, to be honest. And the Raiders got to find a way to get this crowd going. I mean, I know it's not a huge, gigantic crowd, but still, the crowd tonight just looking for a reason to get off their tuchus. And right now, 3rd and 8, we're hoping a big play can do just that.
It's cold out here. People want something to cheer for.
You are darn right about that. It was nice throughout the day. Here's the handoff. There's Zion getting a big opening, and he'll get out near midfield, thrown back forward. Progress will get him a yard short of the first down, if I'm not mistaken. He got right about a yard short, so that's where it looks like they're going to mark him, too. Right on the 49. So what do you do here? You got 4th and 1, and you got a 6-foot, well, how big is he, 6'5", 6'4"-inch quarterback.
Yeah, you could do the Philadelphia
6'3",
Eagles
230.
little push here. Could go
this is
quarterback sneak. Really, I would like to see Clemens on the field. Have a hard time believing Clemens couldn't get a yard here.
You got 6'3". Well, but see, again, if you're not going under center, but they're going to go full house, it's like they know exactly what's coming, though. And they're going to hand it off, and Zion will barely get it. That was
so risky.
Ooh, boy. Okay.
I don't like the any run that has a slight delay when you're that close. And when just 1 yard matters, I don't like the little delay here.
We've talked for many years about 4th and very short and the non-necessity of going out of the shotgun. Now, I realize that's the playbook, but there needs to be a part of the playbook, too, that the Raiders are going to be able to go under center and just sneak it right when you can with a 230-pound quarterback. That should be one of the top ones for short yardage situations. Back to pass. It's going to be Foss, and he's got his man out right. That's caught for 4 yards. And Thomas McGinnis makes the grab. 2nd down and 6.
Pass is complete to McGinnis.
Well, sometimes they can move the ball like you'll see here, but I just think there's such a distinct lack of a big threat play coming that the Hawks can play conservative style defense here.
I'd be very interested to see if one of these outside receivers break a press here, if they can find a way to free themselves and catch them off guard. Like you said, there's going to be times now where the secondary is going to keep coming up. Even for the short pass, this time over the middle, and it's going to be caught by McGinnis. Great grab. Not only that, had the first down, but kind of stayed in through the hit. He kind of almost over-tackled his man and went right through the tackle. McGinnis turns around and gains 7 more yards. That was an astute play by number 5. Great catch and great run after initial contact by McGinnis. Look at that pass.
And he threw a knuckleball, too. Yep. He threw a changeup. That was one of the slowest passes I've ever seen, but it's just put right where his receiver can catch it, and hard to argue with it. It worked.
Some of the most accurate passes I've ever seen were from Brad Johnson, and I'll tell you what, I don't think he ever threw a spiral, and he would find his way for the Vikings for so many years. Here's a handoff. Cole Zion hits that initial hole, and that was nice. He hit that hole with authority that time. There was no tentative thinking. It was, I'm getting in there, getting through there. He slithers for 4.5. That was a nice first down run. I like the burst there from Cole Zion.
Well, it's a good play call. I'm always a fan of motion, just in general. It just gives the defense something to look at there, and that's power running by a guy with not exactly a power stature, more of a speed stature, but you can feel the momentum shifting here a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But the only thing that matters is that they can punch the ball in the end zone here.
Raiders will split 2 wide to the left. Short side's right side. They're going to have one guy there. That's McGinnis. Handoff goes back up the middle, and again, Cole Zion. Nice carry. Gets through that first initial line. That little hole was enough to get him even closer to a first down, but we're still looking at, third and about 4? This is, again, kind of an yuck spot if you're an offensive coach. What do you do, right?
I really, really hope this is 3-down territory and not 4-down territory. Mm-hmm. I think that's the carrot that you kind of dangle. Like, we could score a touchdown here, but I think perfect night for kicking field goals. Points are obviously coming at a premium. If they don't get it here, I'd like to see Sieben.
They're going to hand it off on 3rd and short. Zion got outside, but not enough. He's going to be 3 yards short.
It's about a 37-yard field goal from that spot. We know Sieben, he made a 45-yard field goal earlier in the season. I know you're a little perplexed by the play call there.
I just heard field goal yelled from down on the field. There's Jack Sieben. Senior comes out. Where's the number 28? Right-footed kicker, longtime soccer player, kind of newer to kicking, but he's really come on to the high school football scene strong in regards to kicking. 2:22 to go. High snap, it's a fake field goal, and McGinnis is going to be taken down in the backfield.
Wow, I am not a fan of that play call if that was what that play was supposed to be. You have one of the best kickers in high school football. 3 points just sitting there. 37 is certainly makeable. I have no idea what they were thinking on that one. That is frustrating to watch on the replay. I don't know.
I didn't watch. I wouldn't watch the replay.
I don't know why you had 3 points right there. So many high school teams don't have a proper kicker. So many teams cannot make a 25-yard field goal, but
got to use Jack.
Have to use him.
Pass left side, caught, trying to get into space with 2 minutes left. The 2-minute drill in play, and boy, Cooper all of a sudden looking like St. Thomas Academy, and they're just rumbling and physically running up through the Hastings defense, that far sideline, and it all started with a nice pass from Fox. He's really good on those outs, isn't he?
Oh, he's very good, but it's hard to focus on that because I feel like I took a flash grenade to the face. I'm still trying to reel it in from that attempt there.
Raiders left a few points on the board in the first half. Back to pass Fox. Pressure comes, and it's thrown up in the air, and this is going to be caught. Vanderhoff tried to make a great play. He had great coverage. Somehow Samaj Young makes the catch. And here comes Cooper. Oh, boy.
Remember that momentum I was talking about a couple of minutes ago? Well, it's entirely flipped, and this was just a duck of a pass. I mean, ripe for the interception, but you got to give credit to number 5 there, Young. That's
a great catch.
That's a great catch to slow down, to readjust, because that should have been picked, but just a tremendous play by that young wide receiver.
Well, Fox is going to have imprints of Vincent Zion and Lucas Sorensen's jersey on his for the next few weeks. That's a flag, and that's going to be brought back, and then some. We're going to have to find out what this ends up being in the long run. It will be a hold there, too, but this is a loss on first down 2, and it's going to move them back anyway. So we'll move them backwards, and that's going to be one of those things where you say, well, shooting yourselves in the foot. Now, that's exactly what Cooper did right here, and if anything, they want to score before the half and get that football to start the second half of play. I mean, there'd be nothing bigger for a road team playing so far away from home to get this 3, 6, 7 points before they go to half.
If you can get a field goal or a touchdown here and score in any fashion, I mean, I hate to be a pessimist, but the game's probably over at that point just because
there's no scoring. There hasn't been much, really, I mean, at all. Here comes Hastings on the pressure. Nickel had him over pursued, and now Fox, who can run, gets out of trouble across the 25 to the 20, and then carrying half a load of Raiders near a first down. Actually, probably still about 4 yards short, but that was a lot of that back and then some. And Hastings right now just trying to hang on for dear life here before halftime with 59.4 seconds to go. And all of a sudden, Cooper has a bunch of life that they did not have at all in this first half. A couple of nice plays, recovering after a big penalty. Now all of a sudden it's 2nd down and 3, and they're in the red zone. Raiders really got to make a big-time statement. Not like we haven't begged the defense to do everything in this first half, but you can't let Fox scramble like that.
Well, and when did Fox turn into Lamar Jackson? You look at his stats on the year, he has 6 carries for 46 yards, and yet he has that type of athleticism. I mean, that is... They might want to use that a little more often because that looked pretty natural to me.
He is elusive and he can throw. He's got a little bit of everything, and we have seen that tonight. And really, we've heard about that throughout the season from afar. Now, it's not like Owen or I follow Robbinsdale, Cooper, Armstrong, any of that stuff like we do Hastings now. And just knowing some of the teams that we'd play against in this district or whatever it is, that this is one of those squads that has athleticism all over the field, and that includes the guy who slings it around, and Cam Fox has been great so far. No score. 59.4 seconds to go in the half. Pressure comes. He gets it away. What a great catch. How did he hang on? Are they going to say incomplete? Did he catch that ball? He caught that ball down to the 1 yard line.
Fox looks like he's banged up a little bit. I mean, he
took a huge shot, and we'll see that again right here.
It's like a David Tyree helmet catch, if I'm not mistaken. We'll get a better look here, and that's exactly what it is.
They're saying incomplete.
Well, that's the right call because the ball landed on the back of his head there.
What athleticism to even comprehend trying to make that play.
And Fox just has,
he's
guts
good.
made out of steel because he's standing there in the pocket and getting these balls downfield with all of that blue and gold coming in on him.
I love this kid. He's won me over in less than 24 minutes of football. I mean, I love watching this young man play football. I don't know if he plays any other sports, if he plays hockey or if he plays basketball or whatever in the wintertime. I want to know about it because I want to follow this kid. He is so exciting to watch. And again, you talked about it. He's not the prototypical height of a quarterback. He's not a big guy by any means, but he has enough athleticism to be extremely dangerous. But the one thing that you cannot stress enough is that with all that said, the Raiders are holding their own against maybe one of the better quarterbacks in the whole district right now. Points.
I think he's way better than what the score indicates. I mean, he's like a Kyler Murray if he was a little bit less of a rusher and more of a passer. He's just standing in there. I mean, obviously, we're the Raiders broadcast, but it's hard not to enjoy his style of quarterbacking from afar.
He's got the Brett Favre in the backfield excitement. He kind of has. He can get a little bit ginger with his feet, but when he does, he creates enough space to be, as we said, dangerous. Here's where the Raiders got to be big. 3rd and 3, 53.9 to go, and out of the shotgun is Fox. He fakes the handoff, runs left, in trouble. That's knocked down. That's where not being a big guy, you can't see over some of those big defensive linemen. Fox has that one knocked down, forces a gigantic 4th down, which seems to me they're going to have to go for here. I don't know much about their kicking game here, and I'm not going to act like I've researched it to a pinpoint like I know Jack Sieben's statistics and or how he kicks the football. But in this instance, you get a stop with 49.5 to go. Even if they get the ball in the second half, that's huge for this team right now.
Yeah, 36-yard field goal is not exactly feasible for most high school teams.
We're lucky. Here's the hand. He's going to keep it up the middle, Fox, and he might have gotten he did get the first down, didn't he? Boy, I didn't. That's the last thing I thought he was going to do was QB keeper on 4th down, and boy, he caught the Raiders sleeping too.
He can just do a little bit of everything, and they're starting to lean into his rushing attack here. And
good block up front too. One of his big boys up front along the line, just enough to create that seam. And we've talked about Fox, and I have gushed about this young man enough today. But he just, again, slippery and elusive enough to get that first down. And now the Raiders have 43.9 seconds to kill. And to keep those eggs up on the scoreboard going into halftime, it's going to take a big effort. And they can do it. The Raider defense has been good so far, but this all of a sudden becomes a huge, huge play in this game.
And that Hawks offensive line is massive, and it seems like when the Hawks offensive line attacks the Raiders defense in short yardage, they can have a lot of success, but when they have to drop back and pass protect, it's a little fishy.
That's where Hastings has had their way, and they'll do it again. This time, Fox, what is he doing? That's a fumble. That is not. Are you going to call that incomplete? There was nobody in the vicinity. That's what Nichols telling the official right now. He's saying that's got to be grounding this time. He's gotten away with one before. Nichols still telling the official, hey, come on, you got to give us. And now the flag comes out.
Well, here's a look at the replay here. So we'll get down to the bottom of it, but yeah, I think you and Brady Nickel are right here. Yeah, just throws it out. A two-handed shove.
Now that's a leader. Now he might not be the captain, if you will, but that's a leader. And being what sportsmanlike to the officials, saying, hey, I kind of don't agree, but that's the second time. Well, how about something? The officials see it, realize it, and that'll be grounding. And that's a huge penalty and a costly one at that here for Robbinsdale Cooper.
Well, Tuck, I can tell you this. Referees have a tough job, and they do a good job, but they are human. And if you're Nickel and you approach that the wrong way, it's kind of only human nature to be like, you're a brat. I'm not going to let that go your way.
Yeah, sure.
Like that is a real thing. It sounds like a dig at the refs, but that's just kind of human nature. I mean, you catch more flies with honey.
Now will they pick it up? Nope. He hasn't come over to the flag, so I'm thinking that this is going to stand. Oh, wait a minute. Now Coach Strain's getting an explanation. The head official right there with his hands on his hips kind of observing what Coach Strain is talking about with the side official.
I mean, there was nobody on that half of the field when he threw that ball.
Well, Coach Strain's going to say, okay, then okay, we'll take it. Here's the situation. They're not calling it as a intentional grounding. It's going to be an ineligible man downfield. So not even grounding. It's ineligible. But how would that, if he's throwing it to an ineligible, well, you could call it either way, I guess. But nonetheless, it's still a penalty. It's 1st and 15 with 37.8 seconds to go in a scoreless first half from Todd Field, Week 8. Back to pass. Fox puts up a rainbow, and it's a beauty. And it's a touchdown.
It's hard to even hate on that. That was such a beautiful pass. I can't wait to see that on replay. Just threw it on a frozen rope, too. There was no unnecessary arc on that. I mean, that is a thing of beauty there for the Hawks. We'll take a look at it here. Just standing tall in the pocket, slings it. Good power, puts it only where his receiver can get it, and gets the foot or two in there. And that wasn't even bad coverage by the Raiders. That was just great route running and a better pass.
Oh, that hurts. Right before half, they get the ball. Snap, bad. Spot, no. Fox going to try to make something out of nothing, and look at him scramble. And look at him go. And look at him get down in for a 2-point conversion. Are you kidding me right now?
That is the most unconventional 2-point conversion I have ever seen. But somehow it goes Cooper's way there. I can't believe they don't run the ball with this guy more. Maybe those stats are not accurate because
I don't know.
This is incredible. I mean, just turning chicken something into chicken salad right there. And points are at such a premium that probably will come into play if the Raiders can ever get on the board.
And the 6 points Hastings left on the field, not trying 2 field goals from Jack's range. So you put those on the board. You put the 8 up there, fine, 8-6 going into half. Anybody can digest that. But this feels like one of those Hastings Two Rivers games where it's 8-0 or 8-6 or something at halftime, and it's going to be a grind down to the finish.
I still cannot believe they didn't go for that field goal.
Got to get something going now. I mean, 32.5 to go. What do you got in the playbook for this?
Yeah, just throwing it down the field. That's pretty much all you can do. Try to get something going in the long passing game, there's no sense in trying to work your way down the field methodically. You don't have the time.
Well, we can return it for a touchdown here.
Well, you know, that'd be helpful. That would
We're
work.
looking for that big play.
And Cooper knows that.
Yep, so there's the little squibber picked up by Kibis, trying to get outside, takes a hit, not going anywhere further than the 16. Now, I hoped in one hand.
Kick return for the Raiders.
Not going to see what happened in the other, and unfortunately, a loss of a couple of yards and first down, and I wouldn't be shocked to see the Raiders just take a knee and go into the halftime break.
This is a very underrated Robbinsdale Cooper team. They are very well coached, and they are, I don't know, this is a very good Raiders defense.
They're playing like it, man. They still, and they're going to take a knee.
And I have no idea why you do this, because they get the ball at to start the second half. Doesn't send the best message to your fans, or doesn't exude a lot of confidence in your players just to kneel down.
Not much response from the fans in the community here, unfortunately, and not anything against the boys at all. It's just there's not much to look back at other than this touchdown pass from Fox, and made it look a little easier than anybody else could with that beautiful rainbow teardrop into the side of the end zone for the first score, and that was it. The botch snap turned into a two-point conversion made, and even when luck isn't going on your side, it shines on the other side of the coin, and that's exactly what happened to the Raiders in the first half. Other than that, Owen, I mean, you just got to kind of throw whatever that was away and just come back out with a new 24 minutes of football, and that's about all I can say as a former Raider and a blue and gold bleeding heart, my man.
Other than that, how was the play, Miss Lincoln?
We'll find out when we come back. At halftime, it's 8-0 Hawks, and we'll go watch the play, and we'll come back, and we'll let you know how it was in just a moment. Hastings down to the Cooper Hawks by a score of 8-0 at halftime, and you're watching on HCTV.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilski, Chief of Police in Hastings, Minnesota. Fentanyl and other opioids are here in Hastings. Our police officers, EMTs, and firefighters respond to dozens of overdoses and poisonings every year. To date, for 2022, Hastings Police Department officers have responded to 45 reported overdoses in our community, and you can help. Call 911 if a friend or loved one is overdosing. Minnesota's Good Samaritan Law, also known as Steve's Law, provides limited protection to people who call 911 and or administer naloxone in response to a suspected or known drug overdose. You can report drug problems anonymously as well. Use our TIP 411 system to make a confidential report. Text the word Hastings and your tip to 847-411. For additional resources, contact United Way's 24/7 helpline by dialing 211 to find resources in and near Hastings. Remember, one pill can kill. Let's work together to stop opioid overdoses and poisonings in our community.
Some you've heard of more, but it doesn't bother me cause I just love to explore. Interviewing owners and lending a hand. I love to assist for as long as they can stand.
Hastings High School Kids team.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Troy Benson here, the athletic director at the high school. Like to invite your attention at midfield. On behalf of ISD 200, it's my privilege to recognize Mr. Kurt Brown for his distinguished service to the athletes teams of Hastings High School and our Robbins School Union. Kurt has been a member of our district grounds crew since 1999. This is his 25th school year. You can find out a little bit about it, you can find out what's including the Kurt's responsibilities as a mowing, fertilizing, repairing, and maintaining all of our outdoor fields and tennis courts at the high school, which benefits 11 different sports and 28 different teams, specifically from the country fields and nets and 7 courses every year. Here at John Field, and for football in particular, that's included everything from taking care of the natural grass for most of that time in our artificial turf in the last 5 years. We also collect community gardens, sign yards, goals, if you need it here at John Field, has prepped up for our teams, because Kurt has prepped. So, to be clear, that is 90 different meetings per year between fall and spring across all sports and levels, or an incredible 2,240 meetings in his career. And he has done that with the quiet commitment, consistency, and flexibility of his career. Kurt is retiring at the end of the 2023-24 school year, which is why I wrote him in the statement next week tonight. This is officially his last regular season football game, and for someone who spends most of his time behind the scenes, early in the morning, benefiting their kids and teams, I want to take a minute to say thank you, we appreciate you, we congratulate you. So for our school leaders and community, please join me in recognizing Mr. Kurt Brown.
were talking about this. Dad's like, somebody's got a TV drone. I'm like, I have a battery, 2.5 batteries. One of these days we'll work it out. So when I'm gone all week at Mario. So I got a fly more common. Which gave me 2 more batteries. So I have 3 batteries. Is it a 20-minute battery or what is it? No, it's about 25. Okay. But I'm probably going to order 1 more, so I'll have 4. And then I have another battery ordered for the goggles. Because you can put 4 or 5 batteries in the goggles, right? Sure. Before that battery dies. Yep. Blake and the kids down there, like, let me fly it, let me. Like, no. So is it difficult to fly, or what are your thoughts? It can be. If you're not, like, you feel like wheezy or anything. Because some people have that, and they were no, it does. That hasn't bothered me yet. I mean, if you get a lot of, when you're going back and forth, it does mess with you a little bit, but it didn't bother me too bad. It must be fun flying, like, if after the game, it's just, oh God, I'm just going to fly around through everything. Yeah, I was flying through the house last night. I tried showing you the video, or sending you the video, but that was too big. And I literally, I came around the corner and down the stairs. As I did, it drifted just a hair and hit the wall. But they bounce, right? So you just see it kind of bouncing down the wall. I was like, pull it off. Yeah, it's a really bouncy. Yeah. I want to fly it. Yeah, I don't know. It would not be good for HCTV. We thought about doing like indoor schools. Then borrow mine or buy your own. Or like, I just don't see the use for it. It would be very specific. Because the problem is that when it's flying, it's always sitting somewhat cockeyed. And it's only a 1-axis gimbal, so it doesn't keep the gimbal level like the Mavics do. So I need to use, I need to keep that exactly for that reason. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta see. Somebody's talking.
They're able to have some fun here and get that win tonight and really get a high seed and have some fun in the postseason, but not as much fun as we hope they have when they play us. Hopefully soon in the playoffs. We'll talk about that in a little bit. First half didn't go so well. Even during the break, I mean, talking with some, fans that trying to bite their tongue a little bit too, and I tried to say the same thing. You just got to be patient here coming into the second half as the Raiders had 2-5 overall. A great section, of course, with St. Thomas at 6-1, Jefferson 6-1. Where'd that come from? And then you got Two Rivers 6-1, and then us, Apple Valley and Kennedy holding up the bottom, all under 500. And Apple Valley QRF-wise had a weaker schedule overall, and the Raiders, even with one less win, had a more tough schedule, obviously, and that's why they have been ranked over them. That's why if the Raiders can find a way even to keep this thing close, and Apple Valley gets spanked by Owatonna, which we hope is happening right now, good things still might happen, but we don't want to go into that game in a loss, in a losing situation. We want to find a way to get that home game and really have some fun Tuesday, because there's just something about playoff football, especially when they're saying next week it's going to be like 67 degrees or something like that. We better load this place up on Tuesday night if we're playing at home.
I think we will, and anything can happen in sections, so it's a fun time no matter how you end the year. And there you briefly saw the section for the Hawks, and it's Robbinsdale supremacy. Both those Robbinsdale teams are up at the top. They're having a fantastic year up there in the Northwest Metro. I
had a chance this year during the summertime to play with the Bully Bats Bullies, a kind of a 35-plus team up in the Twin Cities League, along with playing for the Mammoth. And we played a lot of games up in Robbinsdale. I actually played at Lighted Field in New Hope that, some of those Robbinsdale teams have played on over the years. And anybody watching up on CCX Media will probably say, oh, I know where Lighted Field is. Talking with some of the locals, I mean, they were saying that this fall, they're like, hey, we love your field down in Hastings. It's going to be cool to come down there and check it out and everything, but we should have two very good football teams this year. And everybody was saying, hey, Armstrong's the cream of the crop and all that, and I believe that, but I didn't know this Cooper team had as much flex as it does. I mean, a little bit of everything in this team, and I think that's what's going to make them dangerous in the playoffs.
It's just the parity of high school football. I mean, sometimes teams pop out of nowhere and have a good season. It's obviously you have your blue bloods every year, your St. Thomas and whatnot, but I'm a fan of this Hawks team. If you couldn't tell, they've won me over. We've only covered one half, but it's hard not to root for them. I'll definitely keep an eye on them in the sections. So it's fun seeing teams like this.
I really have had a lot of fun. And I know just talking to a couple people here just a little bit ago, I was talking to Danny Smolik, and he said that this is a really good team. And who's the first person that he said looked good on their team?
Their quarterback.
You're their quarterback, that's right. And Danny, multi-sport athlete at Sibley all those years, and has seen a lot of good quarterbacks come through the old St. Paul Suburban Conference. And he was saying, man, there's not many guys that can throw a ball like that. And I told him directly, I said, that's the best touchdown pass I think I've seen this year in high school football. And I've seen quite a few of them, whether it be online or whatnot. And that was a beautiful play. But now the Raiders got to find a way to get plays of their own and really start to do something. Generate offense is going to be the big key. We know our defense will do their thing. It's got to start here, though. Jack Sieben going to kick it off. Many fans are asking, why did we not take the points? I don't have those answers, but that's definitely something that's been talked about throughout this halftime break. Here's the kick from Jack Sieben in the senior end-over-end kick, and I think somebody on our side might have been lined up offsides. That's not a good omen for the second half if you're a Raider fan, eh?
No. Not the best start.
Okay. Raiders got to take a page out of the Vikings book. First half, so anemic, both teams. It was just like, what are we watching? In the second half, they actually got a pulse, figured some stuff out on both sides of the ball, and just found a way to win. And that's the type of game the Raiders are going to have to play here in the second half.
Like most Raiders games, the game is there for the taking if they can just take it. But, unfortunately this year it just kind of hasn't gone that way.
Jack again this time from the 35, and we'll squib. Squibb to an up back at the 35, outside left, back towards the 35, running out of his own shoes nearly, cutting back right, finding some room, 35, 45 to the 50, 45 the other way, 40 to the 38-yard line. That turned into something, and it was nothing at first. He also got the wind knocked out of him. Going to need just a moment here. He got a knee or something on the belly there, and that's exactly what it is. He just needs a second to breathe, and that's exactly what the officials are giving him. Jack Sieben making sure he was okay and grabbing the ball.
And that penalty was not actually 5 yards. That penalty was 30 yards because that was the difference between that return and the initial kick.
It's
small mistakes can compound, and that time not even so abstractly.
And just some moves. Boardman finally gets in there. Actually, that was Siebenthaler, 34, who got in there and made the play.
Yeah, that is a disaster start for the Raiders. I mean, I guess the only thing worse would be if he would have returned it for a touchdown, but hopefully this kid's all right. I'm sure he just got the wind knocked out of him.
Carmo's been good all night and really all fast. Not only does he punt, but he returns kicks. I mean, how versatile do you have to be to have that kind of a skill set, to do a little bit of everything? You know, Vincent Zion's kind of one of those guys on the Raiders side where you could really put him up anywhere offensively, defensively, and he's going to give you as good of an effort as anybody, no matter what number he's wearing or what position he is at. And Carmo kind of the same type of player for Cooper, so you can better believe they're not going to want to be without him for very long.
And how about that kick return, just going from side to side? I mean, that's some stuff you would do in those old school NCAA football games.
Raiders came in on an edge blitz, and instead the ball on a carry up the middle won't garner much, if any. If 2 yards is about all, and that'll be number 24. That's Amari Davison again. He's the sophomore back.
Gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
2nd and 8, short field here for Cooper. They lead Hastings 8-0, third quarter. Todd Field. We're in Hastings, week 8 of the Minnesota high school football season in 2023. Nick Tuckner and Owen Ely, we are here at Todd Field for all of the fun. And fun we're hoping to have soon on behalf of the blue and gold guys who will come out defensively. 2nd and 8, handoff goes back up the middle, and Brady Nichols says, not on my watch. Immediately scoops him up and throws him down heavily, and it's going to be maybe a bounce of a helmet off of the turf there. Davison getting up slowly with the help of one of his big linemen. The official jumped right in there and said, you get out of here, bud. You're going to have to get looked at. And I don't blame him, because you and I have both seen a couple times this year where guys have had that head kind of bouncing off the turf, and that's the one thing that they are, if not checking more on anything than any in high school sports, it's those concussions. So, yeah, make sure you get him off.
There's no head injury that's worth a win or staying in the game, so that's good to see that they're taking care of the players here tonight, like they have all season.
Screen left, and he's down on a knee after the catch. Good catch by Young, and just couldn't get out of his own sneakers there to get that first down. Takes a knee right before the 30, so 4th down and about 4.5 here now for Cooper, who has some interesting decisions to make here, and I don't think it's going to be as interesting as you would think, because with this offense, we've seen QB keepers on 4th. I mean, you never know what you're going to get here.
Yeah, they have confidence in their offense, so
we'll
see what their play selection is here.
Big play for Hastings defensively. Conversely, a big one for Cooper, but I don't think it's even as big as what the Raiders need here, and that's the big stop on 4th down. And here's Fox rolling. He's got 2 Raiders chasing on the run, puts it up. It's going to be incomplete. Great coverage near side by Vanderhoff, and there was no chance for him to make the catch even if he wanted to, because Vanderhoff on him like glue, and that's a turnover on downs, and we'll take that thing back. Let's get this pigskin and put it down on that blue thing down there.
Well, that was a pretty good pass for rolling out under pressure. I mean, if that field was a couple of feet wider, he would have got that.
This kid's good, man. And everybody, you guys don't understand. In Robbinsdale, the guy you have talking into the microphone right now is a bleeding heart Raider. I have never lived anywhere outside of Hastings, and everything is Raider everything when it comes to being at broadcasting these games. So, yes, you're getting some big-time pub there from what Fox has done, and this handoff's not going to go too far.
Cole Zion, the ball carrier.
So Zion will get a couple.
And such a respectful game too. Both sides picking up opposing players when they're down. This has been a very physical game, especially for Hastings. Very, very competitive, but a very, very respectful game. Which, I mean, there were some games a little earlier in the season that maybe weren't this nice, but.
Yep.
It's refreshing to see.
Yep, both teams playing hard. Low-scoring affair. Defense has been the big MO on both sides so far. Raiders out of the gun. Foss to pass. Edge blitz comes, and he overthrows it for an interception, and that was not even close to Cloutier's hands. Back the other way, breaking into open space, and he's probably gone. 20, 15, 10, 5, out of bounds at the 3.
I have no idea what they're doing
What are
because
we doing?
they had stacked receivers on the near side, and they had a screen set up, and the quarterback Foss never even looked to the left. If he would have looked to the left, he would have had a wide open screen with the blocker down the field. I mean, this is what we've seen the last couple of years with Milner. These slants over the middle. It's so hard for this offense to judge where to put the ball. And again, that was his second interception that just, quite frankly, wasn't even close.
You put that defense, they just worked so hard to get you that football, and now you're putting them right back on, expecting them to get something done with only 5 yards to go. I mean, this is just not ideal. And that pass was not even close to its intended target.
And you got to feel so bad for this defense because it's such a good defense, but a lot of times they're put in some pretty precarious situations.
This is a full house, and it's going to end up being a wildcat, and it's going to end up being coming back too because it's probably going to be an illegal shift. There was like 3 guys moving at once. This is going to be some sort of illegal procedure. Yeah. No, this is coming back. You can't have that many guys moving at once.
Well, outside of half the team moving early, that was an interesting play call.
They call a hold. So the motion wasn't the call, it's holding against Cooper. So this is going to help the Raiders big time here. Get them out of the shadow of their own end zone defensively. 8:38 to go here in the third quarter. It's 8-0 Cooper over Hastings. Let's take a look at this pass again. Just airmailed. That wasn't even, Cloutier didn't even have his hands out. And it was just thrown up there for Cooper to have. And that's unfortunate for Hastings.
Well, looking at that replay, you would think there was a receiver out of the screen to the top the way that was thrown. And
no.
I mean, they're pretty lucky in a sense that wasn't a touchdown, but
boy, does that hurt. All right, 8:38 to go.
That initial kickoff really was an omen, like you said.
Right. Handoff this time goes nowhere, and the Raider defense is just doing what they've done all game long. Host of Raiders, plethora of Raiders, Creed Peterson, Brady Nickel, Vinny Zion, alongside 59, and that's Ben Tome.
Peterson coming out of that play limping just a little bit, looking to the sidelines. Looks like he'll stay in, but there's another look. Just absolutely swarmed. I mean, they're just like hornets right on that ball carrier.
This defense deserves to win. The only play you're going to give them is that touchdown. That was one of the best plays you'll see all year. Other than that, this defense has been nothing but fantastic, and they deserve better.
I don't know many D3 defenses that would have defended that play properly.
Look at this one. Fox this time overthrows it, but he was hit by Boardman as he let it go, and he has gotten it off just in enough time each time to not be hit while he's throwing it to really cause a duck or an interception. But the Raiders are so close, Owen, to getting one of those that it hits the quarterback and loosens up somewhere, scoop and score. I mean, you got to start thinking this Raider defense, with all they've done tonight, that one of these plays are going to break something to end up really turning the field the other way.
Yeah, that's so true. Outside of that catch from Young that was kind of underthrown,
right?
He's throwing balls that either his receiver catches or nobody catches.
Yep. And that's the difference right now in the game. If we're going to throw it away on the blue side, there comes the toss in the air after a big hit by Zion. And that blitz right up the A gap, and boy, did Fox feel that one.
Even that play, even when he's getting plastered to the turf, he's not putting it where a Raiders defender can intercept it. But good God, he is going to be black and blue with bruises tomorrow.
He is getting up after every play. He's taken so many shots tonight from this interior of the Raider defense, and he just comes back for more and more and more.
So it's like Justin Fields in that semifinal game. Taking a beating.
That really is very mindful of that type of an effort. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. They're going to pass left on a fade, back of the end zone, and that's a touchdown, and that's a beauty.
How does he do it?
Great touchdown. The pass from Fox into the back of the end zone, and that one caught by Williams, and now 14-0 Hawks, and the Raiders are in big trouble here, Owen.
It's hard to even be mad at that because it's 4th down and 16, and I mean, what is the defender going to do? He just puts it where only his receiver can. His receiver kind of high points it. I don't really know. I don't really know how you defend that. That's incredible. He's had 2 elite A+ passes.
This hurts.
Well, the game's.
This just hurts.
If the first 2.5 quarters are any indication, this game is already out of reach, meaning something's going to have to change here on the Raiders' behalf.
Raiders have a guy down in the end zone. And at first I thought it was just a wind thing, but now they're signaling to bring out some more assistance. And now even from the Cooper sideline, I don't know if that was Coach Howard himself who ran down there. I can't get the number right now of the Raider who is down.
I would have to imagine it's somebody in the secondary, but
Right.
yeah, I can't.
Sitting up is said player, so that's at least good news. But again, when you talk about it being colder outside, those hits, especially that end in
That's
the helmet hitting.
Cade Kimmis.
That's Kimmis. Yep. Sitting up, talking to the trainers. Of course, critical evaluation right away for concussion, and that's exactly what they're looking at.
And that is Coach Howard, isn't that?
Yep, it is too.
What a great coach.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's, again, the class we've seen tonight from this Cooper team.
They carry themselves so well.
Yep, there's man. Yeah, this is. I'm not mad on their behalf. I'll put it that way. If I'm upset as a Raider fan, there's a lot more to digest, I suppose. And they're going to go ahead and try the extra point here.
Yeah, that's a fair point. There's probably more self-evaluation,
Right.
more looking interior than there is.
You've had your chance. You had your chances earlier too, and now they're taking advantage of theirs. And the Raiders have given them these chances. Extra point. Up. I think that's in there. And the kick from Kelvin Callan is good. 15-0.
Well, that's a great recovery. I would say that worked out a lot better than the first time, but actually it was a successful 2-point conversion the last time. But here's another look at that pass to the back corner of the end zone, double coverage, and
man,
it's just
What a play.
passing is so hard. I don't think people realize how hard passing is at the high school level, especially here. This is not Texas. This is not California.
Yeah.
It's not Florida. I mean, this kid was passing for 177 yards per game, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's like astronomical for Minnesota high school football. I mean, they really have this whole slinging the pigskin thing down here.
Hastings, again, is going to get it back, but their offense, which has struggled at times this year, and when they have struggled, unfortunately, it has been pronounced. And Hastings needs to get something going that's, and let's be honest, efficient too, because now you're down 2 scores. It's been hard enough to get a touchdown or a field goal, for that matter, as it is. And a 15-0 lead for you and I, Owen, probably feels a little more like 45-0. And like we said, it's got to start now. I mean, you got to almost feel that that's the score. You have to get going now.
Well, now field goals don't matter. At halftime with that score, field goals did matter, but now you're down 15. You can't even go for field goals if you really wanted, because it wouldn't really serve a purpose.
And over-end kick that's going to go out of bounds. That'll benefit the Raiders a little bit here. A little bit of pushing and shoving after the play.
Yeah,
Raiders,
solid no call. I like that. Let him play.
I think the Hastings wants a re-kick. Let's just take the ball. No, we're gonna make them do it again. All right.
As opposed to starting at the 40?
All right, let's do it again. This time from the 35-yard line. They did the same thing when.
Would they not have gotten the ball at the 40 because it went out of bounds? Are they going to get better than the 40?
I don't know. I'm curious if there's a play on, perhaps. Yeah, they're going to move it. Well, he thought it was just a re-kick. official's like, no, you still got a penalty. We got to move you back 5 yards. There he goes. Now it's set up. And again, Kelvin Callan will set to boot it away for Cooper in their white, black, and orange. Gives me the throwback vibes of White Bear Lake in the years in the Suburban East. And Callan's kick is a line drive. And this one, too, along the carpet, stays in play. 30 falling over the 30-yard line. And the Raiders, now we got some more pushing and shoving, and this has gone on enough between these two. Boardman has had some extracurricular activities with Nick Hott, and both guys have gotten a little hot, and I think this will be offsetting unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, which I lied about because it's going to be just against Hastings.
Yeah, that's just frustration right there. There's no reason to do that, and that's especially dangerous. Swinging your cleat like that. That's really not how Hastings has ever played the game, and don't like to see that start now.
It's not Hastings football.
Yeah, the little knee, and
that's not Hastings football.
That never flies here in Hastings. That's never been. There's been not a ton of constants in Hastings football, but you can always say that the Raiders play the game the right way and with respect. And
Raiders will take over first and
you know,
10.
you don't want to bury somebody too much, but at the same time, you know, that's not acceptable.
Moves Hastings back to the 18-yard line, their own. Man in motion, Cloutier to the backfield, low snap, fake the jet, handoff goes up the middle, and Cole Zion will get 8. Nice first down carry. Need to see urgency, like we mentioned earlier. Raiders need to get this to a one-score game and start to make this thing feel like the game before we start playoffs. Right now, this place is as flat as a Perkins pancake, and we need to get this thing rolling.
They've just had nothing to cheer for here tonight.
It's got to happen sooner or later. You'd think the handoff, Zion, and he'll get the first down, and then forward progress. We'll give him an extra yard. That'll be a gain of about 4. Yep. First down. There we go. Move the chains. We haven't had many of those tonight, unfortunately. But a nice little run there by Cole Zion. And again, just kind of a little seam run. Find that little spot in the A gap and slither through. First down. Move the chains. Here we go again. Raiders out of the gun. 2 receivers. Strong side left. 1 to the right. Handoff again goes to Zion. Gets outside and doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Might have lost a yard.
And I was just going to say this at the end of the last play, but that illustrates my point so well. They do such a good job at gaining yards when it's north and south, but against that lateral speed, against the Hawks, they've had no success running the ball.
This is the team you cannot do that with because they will get you on the outside every time with all of the speed and, let's be honest, aggressiveness. They've had a lot of those first guy on the scene tackles where you wrap them up and then you team finish. And we talked about that as a big key for the Raiders tonight. For the most part, they have accomplished that feat, but another low snap. Rolling, Foss had some time, gets rid of the football as he's being hauled down. Out of play it goes, and it's going to be 3rd and 10, and the Raider offense continues to sputter here in the third quarter, down 15-0.
Well, speed is the language that the Hawks speak, so anytime you're trying to beat them with speed, you're trying to beat them at their strength, which has not gone well. And Cloutier and Thomas McGinnis both beat their coverage. That they would have had a 70-yard touchdown. It's tough because he was rolling to his right, and both of those guys were more towards the left side of the field, but 2 wide open receivers.
3rd and 10 Raiders. Right to left on your screen. Back to pass. Foss this time takes his time. Great pass. Complete to nickel. First down and then some. Boy, did that look totally different. It's just 2 steps back, read, throw. Methodical. That was beautifully done by Foss. First down, Raiders, and their second of the drive.
Well, and what's the biggest talking point in professional football? It's time to throw, and you want that to be as short as possible. And what strong hands by Nickel, because Samaj Young came in and basically lowered his shoulder right into the hands of Nickel. Could have very easily been a fumble, but sure hands and a sure throw there by Foss.
A majority of it, though, has been not due to the receivers, but more or less to some of the secondary play from the other side. Is Cole Zion will fall ahead for 1. 2nd and 9 Raiders. 4:52 to go. Clock running. Third quarter, second half. Raiders are down 15-0, trailed 8-0 at halftime. After a final minute drive, ended in a wonderful pass and reception in the back of the end zone to close out the half. A botched snap on the extra point ends up turning into a 2-point conversion scramble. And here we are, 15-0 after a touchdown and extra point to start the third. Raiders, another low snap. Pulled back over, given to Zion, who falls ahead after gaining 8 or so. He is going to be very close to a first down, and now we're seeing what we saw last week, except for this is not a blowout. It seems like the Raiders up front are starting to wear down some of these two-way stars from Cooper. You and I talked a little bit about this at halftime. They're playing more two-way players than I see in a Prescott game on a Friday night. It's not going to be long before this Raider team might start to get some more seams with the tired team out there.
And opportunities here, and Zion has the ability to hit the hole in the vision to burn them north-south like we just saw there.
Third and very short. Make this easy, boys. Handoff, Zion, not going to be easy. Second, little fall ahead's going to be so close, but he's still short, and it doesn't look like they're even going to give him the line of scrimmage. You got to go.
Well, yeah, there's no
goofing
sense
around.
No sense in playing field position here. You got to play to get this first down.
Where's 30 at? Where is 30 at?
We haven't seen him since
he's on the sidelines.
The first quarter.
Clemens on the sidelines.
He had 3 carries for about 20 yards. I mean, he's the perfect north-south, type of thunder back to the lightning of Zion. Now, Zion's good, but, I think so much of this is situational.
3 receivers, nickel up right as a wing back, will go in motion to cross the line, and they're going to hand it off, and that was, it's going to be kept, and it's Foss across the 30 to the 25. Okay, there we go. Naked boot when nobody's expecting it. Thank you. First down, Raiders. He faked everybody out of here and then back to the station for that matter. Man, that was a nasty fake and a great run by the big fella.
Well, Foss is a big guy as he kind of lowers the shoulder there.
He ran him over at the end, too. Now he's got a player down.
He's a big guy. He
has players down.
He has surprising speed, too, so I love that call.
Oh, that was perfect.
There's no setup. There's no telegraphing. You've ran that same play. I mean, 15 times where you just give the little draw to Zion, and
that was
exactly
awesome.
when you needed
it. That's what we need. Mix it up a little bit. I mean, getting an opportunity is one thing, but cashing in on it and then some when you need the biggest first down of the game, that just shows moxie from your quarterback. And let's be honest, he'll tell you this, too, after the game, that maybe his first couple quarters weren't exactly the way that Mr. Foss wanted to play, but right there, that showed leadership ability and then some. That's a huge play. Now you got a couple players that are down here on the run for the Hawks as we look at our state champs. How about those guys right there on the screen? Another state championship for this Raider band, and that is so cool. And it never gets old saying that, but congrats to our state champs and all they do to keep us peppy every single game we're here.
The champs are here. The champs are in the building.
They should have played like that. Like that's like some champs. They're like champs are here or something like that. That would have been cool to see them walk in with that song. I think that would have been awesome.
I know. Well, you have the connections. You got to tell them.
That's true. That's true. I should be funneling ideas to Ms. Chandler. Maybe I will do that. I can see her right down there. I'm going to have to go. She's talking to one of the other teachers right
There's
now.
Tuck on the screen right there.
There he is. Yeah, that's me. Hi, everybody. I am here. Yes. That guy's way more better looking than I am. So you can take a look at... Oh, and then they turn the camera off. I don't know if that says something or what. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I'll have to talk with the crew after this.
Yeah, you're going to have discussions with them. At least they're not showing me the beer stube again. That was mean last time they did that. I didn't smell my usual waft, so I don't know if it's not Reuben night or steak night. I don't know what's going on. It's Wednesday, right? So it's a little different. So maybe they're not cooking as late. I don't know, but
Oh, well, there's the beer stew, but
again.
the air is it's thick. It's it's kind of misty out here, so maybe the smell doesn't travel as well as
traveling
normal.
through the thicker fall air. Yeah, we could definitely see that happening as well. Unfortunately, though, tonight I should say unfortunately because fortunately I have a nice stash of Coburn's mac and cheese that's waiting for me at home, and people might be looking at their screen going, well, what's so cool about that? Go try it and then come back and talk to me. I'm a mac and cheese aficionado, and that is probably the best.
But we know that you would give up on that in a second if the beer stew brought over a heart steak.
Yeah, well, probably, at least for the rest of the game. I mean, I could always make room for a heart steak and steak fries, or a heart steak and toast. I do have connections over there. We should probably start setting those up.
You are the most connected person in the city of Hastings.
You never would have thought that like 30 years ago. If you knew me as a kid, you'd be like, how does this guy know who this guy or where this person does this and that and everything? Well, you get plugged in after a while, and you learn a few things about your community, and sometimes that means finding the right people for certain things, and this thing that Owen and I are talking about has to do with the beer stew. But we got to at least do that. If we're at home next game, we should almost make it a Tuesday HCTV pregame field trip that we go over to the beer stew.
I mean, it's just right there. It's just right across the street.
Jimmy Yans, Sam Yans, Nina Yans, you Yanses over there listening and watching right now. Talk to us. Holler at us. We'll come over and say hi before the game if we're at home Tuesday. Here we go. None of that. Neither here nor there anymore with 2:39 to go. Clock running. Third quarter. Raiders down 15-0. Now I'm hungry. Out of the shotgun. Another low snap. Foss picks it up. Recovers. Makes a great pass out left. Caught. Coulter's gone. Touchdown Raiders. Finally, we broke the seal. That's got to feel good for number 9, doesn't it? He's been waiting for that one for a while. And Coulter in.
I mean, statistically, it's been a lackluster season, but, he's always been the top receiver that he's been the last couple of years. And what a great recovery. They really need to figure out that low snap situation, by the way. But the yak, 20 yards of yak down the sidelines, that's the risk you playing in open space. If you don't get that tackle, there's going to be some yardage to get gained, and that's exactly what Hastings needs. And this stadium absolutely exploded.
Going for 2. Trying to put less pressure on the team. Next drive. Out of the gun. From 2 yards out. Foss rolls. Has a man too! And that is caught by, I want to say, Peyton Lee Dean. Is it 15 or 45? It's 45 for the Raiders, who ends up getting the grab on the 2-point effort. Charles Wagner, a junior, with the 2-point grab. We haven't said his name all year, and he comes up and makes one of the biggest plays of his career in the biggest game of the season.
It's next man up. I mean, late in the season, this happens every year with the Raiders. Somebody comes out that we don't talk about.
Right.
Yep. They make a play, and I love going for 2, especially because you got it, but because you have the momentum on your side, you might as well not put it off, and works out brilliantly for the Hastings. And like I said, we should have taken that field goal before half because the game would feel so different.
Right.
This is obviously a touchdown, but how different does this game feel now that we know it's possible for the Raiders to stand in the end zone with the ball and score points?
You and I both feel that same energy that just has not been in this place all night. And the Raider student section decked out in their best red, white, and blue, all standing off to our left from our vantage point up here next to the press box at Todd Field. Jack Sieben lines up to kick it away. Raiders down 7, 15-8, but new life. The senior, squib, left, hop, bounce, 10, taken. Running left side, now cutting back to the right across the 20. 20 breaks a tackle, gets out left, slips out left side, runs backwards, and the Raiders handle it just fine. Hastings on special teams, and it's Jack Sieben, or is it not? Who is it? 88, not 28. 88 making
Kyan
the tackle.
Esterby.
Kyan Esterby. Boy, I thought that was 28. I'm like, is Jack Seaman just made a tackle? That is a good omen here for the rest of the game. But
I thought that was Sawyer Chumsland the way he wrapped him up.
that kid can tackle. We'll just leave it at that. He is. I mean, you look at him and you don't see those the big giant pipes, but boy, man, he can wrap a guy up and take him down.
It is all technique. And this is the importance of getting that goose egg off the board, because it feels like we could win this game now. It's like it's immeasurable, even just getting 3 points.
Pate in the game now at corner for Hastings. This is a pass left on a screen, nowhere to go. Creed Peterson first on the scene, wraps him up around the legs, and you talk about textbook tackling. The wrestler and one of the team leaders on the mat just made a big play on the field.
Well, it might not always show that Creed Peterson is the best player on the defense, because there's not a lot of passing generally in Minnesota high school football, but boy, when there's a chance to make a play, does he make a play. Right now, he is one of those guys the Raiders will lean on from his safety position to keep everybody from Cooper in front of them. 1:36 to go. That was a weird snap, and this is going to end up still being a decent play for Cooper running left and getting about 8 yards or so back Hoskins, and that looked like that was going to be dead in the backfield, if not an illegal motion, just to the way everybody came out of their stance. It looked so awkward, but sometimes in those awkward situations you come up with a play like that, and actually the sun shining on the backside of a dog. Isn't that what they say sometimes? They end up getting one right there. Now 3rd and a long 3. Well, it just happened with the Raiders in that touchdown with the low snap, kind of turning a play that probably shouldn't have been much of anything into a 22-yard touchdown. Haven't seen a turnover in a little while, right? Hastings would love to get one here deep inside Cooper territory, trying to show blitz, and they carry the would-be tackler to almost a first down. I think this is going to be just short. Oh, they're going to move the chains. It looks like the officials saying move the chains. Yep, they're going to say it's a first down. Raiders thought it was a 4th down. But the side official comes in and says it is a first down. Raiders will not throw a fit about it. Coach Strain was right there. So, he saw the play. And he has no qualms about it. So, 1st and 10. Big first down there for Cooper, putting a man in motion on a screen out to the near side. It's caught, but not a big gain. He's going to get about 2, maybe 3, and again, another receiver being helped up. One of the Raiders there this time. 3 Raiders there to help him up and tap him all in the helmet. Wow, that's a luxury treatment right there. Not 1, not 2, not 3. What a great tackle by Antoine Pate coming into the game, not really playing a ton, but he's just as good of a tackler as any other member of the secondary. He could be an X factor for Hastings here defensively too. He is one of those speed guys. Matching him up on the corners on the outside might be big here. Back to pass. Fox has his man caught, gain of 4. Not too many yards there. Big initial contact. Young made the catch, but the Raiders with Boardman, I shouldn't say Boardman, 34 in on the play actually. That was Siebeneller, and he's made a little noise tonight. The seniors come in and made some big plays, and he's still out there right now as we end the 3rd quarter. But the Raiders look like a different team. The last 6 or so minutes of game clock, Hastings playing some much better football. We will take a 30-second break with the score 15-8 Cooper over Hastings. Your final quarter of the regular season, regulation-wise anyway, that's coming up next on HCTV.
Watch it now on Hastings.
Who are we? We are artists. We are entertainers. We are storytellers. We are teachers. We keep you informed. We follow the action. Who are we? We are Hastings Community TV.
All right, we're back here. Fourth quarter about to begin. The things that our coaches send me during breaks is just funny. All right, we got to silence the band as the snap's going to be kind of fumbled here, but pick it back up by Fox. He takes a hit, breaks out, and he's going to be down. That's going to force fourth down. Boy, that was a bunch of hubbub everywhere, but the Raiders recover from the madness, stop him short. It's fourth down, and this is the play of the game, and it looks like the Raiders have just forced the biggest punt of the football game tonight.
And that was pure chaos, and out of the chaos emerged Boardman laying down the wood. And that's so true. And that speaks volumes about getting Cooper to actually punt the ball, because they have, a ton of confidence in their offense. So things are switching up here a little bit.
Punt formation.
Punt. High. And over and don't touch it. Now touch it. Picks it up, Cloutier.
So dangerous.
Make sure he did. Out left side. He's got some room. He gets to midfield. Maybe a little bit more. Nice return by one of the big leaders for the Raiders, and Jack Cloutier. And again, you just something's different in here right now. There's just a little bit of extra energy, juice, moxie, mojo. What's the word? I don't know, and frankly, I don't care as long as the Raiders can find their way into the end zone here.
I hate that play so much, but it did work out for the Raiders that time. Anytime there's a punt and you can't field it right away, I'm so opposed.
No.
That's just a disaster waiting to happen. But it works out this time, and they'll definitely take the field position here, starting the ball in Cooper territory.
You can hear the semi-trepidation in my voice as that ball was approaching Jack Cloutier, and it's like, man, you got to be sure mentally, but sure-handed. Got to be ready to do exactly as Jack did. He gets it across midfield, so the Raiders have 49 yards to go to pay dirt. They need 7 to tie. I'm not sure what this discussion is about between the officials back behind the Raiders to our left.
Yeah, they are definitely talking about something. I don't know what it is.
One of the coaches from Cooper are on the field. Now, the thing that I would think is, did Cloutier, now we might need to rewind this and see if Cloutier maybe signaled fair catch. But if it takes a bounce, does it matter?
And they're going to throw out a penalty flag.
So, illegal touching, yeah. So Cloutier must have signaled a fair catch.
Wow, that's going to be quite the swing.
Come on. Are you got to be kidding me right now. You've got to be kidding me.
Here's a look at the replay. Yeah, he did call for a fair catch. Ball bounces and
Can't advance it.
Yep. Okay. That was.
I thought now again that's on me for not knowing that if it touches the ground, if those rules do not apply, but illegal touching will be the call. Raiders get basically what ends up to be a 20-yard penalty.
So Hastings will begin first and 10 at their own 29.
That's not the first time tonight that a 5-yard penalty has turned out to be much more than 5.
11:03 to go. Fourth quarter call in regulation. Raiders down 15-8. Shot themselves in the feet again, but hopefully can bandage the wound. And Cole Zion will try to do that as he carries the pile and it continues to push ahead.
We really don't need to let that go for 5 seconds.
5 seconds got him an extra 3 yards. So a gain of 6 officially on the cloud of dust play.
Yeah, I mean, it works out well for him there, but it's you're just asking for somebody to tear up a knee or something.
Or strip it, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I was even thinking about getting injured, but yeah, that's the last thing the Raiders need before playoffs. Foss out of the gun, man in motion, Cloutier to the backfield. He'll get the jet this time. Blocking sets up off left. Might be enough room. No, it's not. Again, that east-west stuff, like you were talking about earlier, we got to have more of that because the north-south, we're stretching the field, but it doesn't matter. When you have speed like that, you can stretch the field all you want to. You're going to run out of the room before you know it. And that's exactly what happened here. Take a look, because Cloutier, he kind of knew from the outset that he might be getting that ball, and couldn't get upfield.
And that was best case scenario, too, because that was tremendous blocking by the 3 Raiders over there, and it still was only a few yards. I mean, the field is a finite area from west to east, so yeah, you're gonna run out real quick.
Huge offensive play, 3rd down in Cooper territory after the penalty to start the. Oh my goodness!
Just a little more trouble with accuracy.
And that was, if it was in his breadbasket, Nickel had a 25-yard gain, if not more. Instead, the Raiders are bringing the punt team out.
And it's the right thing to do. I mean, you don't want to go for it with 10 minutes to go, but it's just more that you're piling on top of your defense.
And more frustration. You know, you can hear it in the fans even. The grumbles. You're not going to hear boos, but you're going to hear grumbles, and there's been plenty of that tonight. Low snap. Vincent finds it. Plenty of time. Gets off a decent kick where nobody is. Takes a Raider bounce and then some, 25-22 or so. Yep.
Well, that could not have taken a better bounce for Hastings.
I'll take that.
A little bit of, kind of through error on the snap, but a little bit of an Aussie-style punt right there.
That's all it was. Hit the nose on the turf and get a little forward spin, and Vincent does it as textbook as you can ask.
Man, high school punters are so interesting because it seems like there rarely ever is just a full-time punter. It's always
really.
Your quarterback or your defensive tackle or something. It's just kind of whoever.
Having a quarterback kick I've always liked because it gives you that extra dimension or option on special teams to make the opposing team think a little bit.
Especially the pooch punt when you're in that weird area from like the 40 to the 30.
Right. This time, quick handoff with the lead. Now you know that Cooper's going to maybe try to eat some clock here with the lead at 15-8. And this time a gain of 8. 7, says Manny Hill on the carry from Davison, the sophomore. 9:38 to go. Clock runs. 4th quarter from Todd Field. Week 8, final week of the regular season in Minnesota high school football. And yes, it is on a Wednesday due to the MEA break. Handoff up the middle. 1st down and then some. Davison again carrying the troops. And Cooper doing exactly as Coach Howard wants right now. Positive yards, chains moving, ball moving. He checked every box. And right now, Cooper is doing what they have to do to go home with a victory. No matter what the score is, they don't care as long as they get back on a bus out of Todd Field with the victory.
Well, that's the one thing tonight. The Hawks have not given a dang about momentum in this game.
No. Raiders on a carry. Bottle up Davison. Gets back to the line before thrown backwards. So no gain officially. Clemens was in on the tackle, as you see here again. Just good penetration initially by Hastings, and got some big boys there. Zion, of course, never one to shy away from a physical altercation, and he got a little help from Clemens. 8:30 to go. 4th quarter, call it regulation. 15-8 Hawks the lead over the Raiders in week 8. Fox back to pass, puts up a laser beam right, has his man caught, he's gone, and this will put the Raiders away. It's a touchdown. 60-yard touchdown, and that should pretty well do it.
And that's a tough one for Camus to win one-on-one against that type of speed, but you know, they were beating him, and that was all set up through that north-south running by their running back who did take a little bit of a beating on those last couple of runs, but just straight line speed. And even more important than that, I mean, just a brilliant throw, which you come to expect watching Fox.
The exodus to the doors will begin.
It's crazy how immediate that is.
Yep. As soon as the fans, even the students saw it, the hats are put back on and the legs are put in motion back out to the parking lot.
It's like a third of the stadium.
Yep. Snap spot. Kind of a weird kick. It still got through there. If it was any deeper, that probably would have been no good.
Extra point from
But the kick from Callan's good. And that, like I said, folks, that should pretty well put the Raiders out of this one.
Well, especially tonight. I mean,
Man.
I suppose never say never if they can get the offense rolling like they did, but it's not exactly a lightning type of offense where they're just up and down the field and in a minute or two. It's more of a methodical offense, and 8 minutes to go, you're down by 14. It's a tough equation they're facing.
Raiders, well, if you want to say it, on life support. Need something to jumpstart the blue and gold, but like we said, many of the fans, even some in the student section, taking the rest of the evening to maybe go home and get a little extra sleep during their MEA break. I know my 9-year-old third grader, he is as happy as a clam, having a couple days off right now. And Dallas Christopher, if you are still up watching the game, buddy, I miss you. And I'm so proud of you here. So that through this first couple months of school, and I think a lot of parents that had conferences over the last couple days feel the same way. And a special hat tip and thank you to all of our teachers and staff, custodial, all these people that do so much for our kids. I want to put a special shout out to every one of you for doing what you do every day to make sure that our kids have a great experience here in District 200. We're going to get a penalty here against Cooper, and this is the third time tonight we've seen something like this.
Yeah, that's definitely been a point of contention for these referees. They're watching these
They
kickoffs.
really are, aren't they? Not that that's a bad
microscope.
thing, but I'm like, man, they really watching that closely.
Are Clams happy?
I think so. Supposedly they are. Now, I would assume you're probably a happier clam if you're in the ocean as opposed to a clam that has to spend like 5 or 6 months under the ice in northern Minnesota.
Or a clam that's on Tuck's plate.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, what is no, calamari, that's a squid, right?
Yeah, I think
Clam's
so,
just
yeah.
like clam strips. There's no special name for that, but I've had clam strips, and I actually enjoy them. They're a little chewy, but they're not bad. I mean, I like seafood. Kick here. I'm not a big scallop guy. Here's a kick to one of the upbacks, and quickly taken down is McGinnis. At the 40, Raiders have a 60-yard field. Might as well go down and score. Make this thing a little more fun here down the stretch, but the Raiders down 22-8.
McGinnis returns his quick kick from the 42-yard line.
They did score a little bit ago. Let's see if we can find a way now to get the job done again.
I mean, they have the receivers to kind of get something going here with a long strike, but, you got to get the ball there first. The offensive line's got to provide a little bit better protection, but
You almost need your big play here. We've been talking about that all game tonight. The Raiders have not exploded for a big offensive play all season. Back to pass, Foss knocked down at the line of scrimmage and nearly intercepted, and that's kind of how our night has gone.
well, if you're going to have that big play, there's no sense in putting it off any longer because the game's right on the edge here.
A lot of respect goes out to Coach Howard's team, his kids, his staff.
You got Creed Peterson out there on offense.
He can run that football. We'll see what he does. Probably line up maybe as a receiver. Looks like they're going to split him out as a wing back, kind of in the nickel spot where he was playing, like a tight end edge, wing back. Out of the gun. Looked like we moved early. Pass going to be caught out left side. And that will end up getting him out to the 48 or so. Pass caught by Foss. Foss to Foss connection. I'd love to see it in the end zone again here.
They might want to throw it to Peterson because that route he ran was pretty fast and pretty crisp.
Him and Sawyer Chumsland have some similarities to the way they play the game on both sides of the football, and that's definitely one of them. This one caught by Cloutier at midfield. He's going to get a first down out of this. All right, move the chains. Come on, we got to go. 7:30 to go. Okay, now we got some Cooper guys again getting picked up off the turf and a little slow to get up. Raiders have really handled this Cooper team physically, but I'm going to tell you something. This team, like none other, has not backed down throughout this entire 48 minutes. Well, 40 so far. Raiders need a big play. One receiver short side right, two to the left. Single back. Foss protected very well, and he throws that one almost into Lawrence Interiors.
Yeah, that one just a little overshot there. But better than a little undershot and intercepted.
I know, but second down and 10 with 7:05 to go. Here in the fourth quarter, call it regulation. I'll still say regulation, not going to say the game yet. I have faith my blue and gold guys can find some way, somehow, to get in here and make this a game still. Defense, we're going to have to make another big play too. McGinnis will work near side right as a receiver, and he'll get the pass. Caught at the 40, and he'll gain about 6. 2nd and 4, but the clock will continue to run. Cooper's going to give him the little 6-yard, 7 out, 7 in. You know, they're just going to try to give you a couple, but they're going to eat this clock up. It's a 2-possession game.
This would work a lot better in the first half.
Another bad snap. Recovery nearly intercepted. Trying for Peterson. Jumping in front of that play is Emmanuel Carmo, who's been everywhere, every time, it seems like, for this Cooper team in all facets. And now the game is for surely in the mix here with a 4th and 3 from the 39.
And that's been more than like a dozen snaps that are so low, and I can't stress how hard that is. That puts so much stress on Foss because you have to look down, grab the ball, and then look back up, and the entire field has changed.
We were hoping maybe to get Johnny Teglin back today or maybe for playoffs. Back to pass, and that's knocked down at the line, and that's it. First down, Cooper, and then we'll run out the final 6:35. And the Raiders are going to have to answer a lot of questions the next few days because they're not going to have much turnaround whether they're at home or not. It's not really going to matter if we don't find a little bit of urgency, and not just urgency, but another gear. Because when you get to playoff football, I don't care who you play. If you don't come to play, you're going to lose. And we've had that feeling at home too many times, where somebody's come in here and beaten us and ended our season in our building. You need to find a way, whether you're at home or not, to end somebody else's season on Tuesday night.
Well, certainly not at home. I mean, it's unacceptable to have your season end at home.
I mean, and now for the next, I mean, if you're watching this live on Wednesday night, Owen and I are going to be hitting the refresh button as many times as we possibly can until we find out either A, if all the games are played, if said formulas and everything else work out, that they can release it. But I have a feeling that a lot of the releasing of the brackets won't be until tomorrow morning. Sometimes we think that it's going to be cut and dry, and when the formula, which is called the QRF, put forth by Minnesota Scores, Ryan Weinzierl's formula that we've used for many years in a lot of different sports, it's going to be determining who gets seated where. And even with 3 wins, Apple Valley was under us. They played Owatonna tonight. The Raiders played at home tonight against a pretty darn good Hawks team that's 5-2. Even if the Raiders lose here tonight at home, which it looks like they're going to, they still might find a way to wiggle in to a home playoff game. But you got, I mean, there's a lot to be done, period. Jet sweep. And again, they're going to hand off to their Swiss Army knife, and why not, as Carmo again will gain positive yards. That kid has been so fun to watch tonight. I'm going to be pulling for these guys in their respective sectional. I don't think there's a reason that any Raider fan wouldn't either. These kids have been fantastic on and off the field, well coached, well mannered. They just, how do you not pull for a team like this? That, you know, they're not a perennial rival, but I think a lot of us have a ton of respect for how this team plays the game.
It's so crazy that they won us over, and I'm sure a lot of people over in one half.
It's going to be hard for me not to pay attention. Is this one, speaking of paying attention,
little bit of a
because that's going to be a
there.
holding call. That's going to bring it all the way back. That's not a touchdown. And we'll feel nice for him for a moment until he sees all the yellow on the field.
I don't know why 19 is holding his hands up like, what did I do?
No, bud.
That was the center of attention. That was the key block that allowed that to happen. Everybody's eyes were on it. There's no way you're getting away with that.
No, he can say that all he wants, but everybody at the lunch table tomorrow is going to show him on huddle. Yeah, that's probably a pretty good call. Even without the hold, I think he was probably gone. I don't want to say it too loud, but he was
another look
probably gone anyway. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe not.
Close.
Probably would have got the cut off the outside.
Right.
Either way, would have been a big play, but that is they wouldn't even put that in the textbook. That'd be too obvious.
The result of the play is a first down. 1st and 10 Hawks from the Hastings 43-yard line.
Let's go, fellas. I mean, let's have some fun with this. 5:14 to go in the regular season. Raiders trailing Cooper 22-8. Fox hands off, back up the middle again. Nice move. Breaks the tackle, stiff arms one off left side, 40. 35-30, and he's off to the races. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. And another flag.
Wow, that could be 2 consecutive touchdowns. Moved back. This is the defense breaking. You can't ask this much of your defense, but
Raiders catch a break.
They're about to catch 2.
I want to tell you something, too. You don't want to give up these, as you call them, garbage time touchdowns. We're talking about this seeding, strength of schedule, margin of victory. This is still important here. Don't give up anything else.
Well, and whatever, the people in charge know what they're doing, but, how many people are watching every single game and not just looking at the box scores?
Right, exactly. Yep.
It's a big difference whether or not you win 22-8 or whether you win 30-8, because that is a reality that you can't watch every single game, and the final score is the final score. It won't reflect how close this game was for the majority of the game. If supposing they do get, even 22-8 doesn't really reflect how close this game was in a sense, but certainly if they score another touchdown here.
Coming into the game, it was something where you felt, if you're a Raider fan, that it would go the other way later, where Hastings would wear out Cooper, but it's gone totally the opposite way, and they really let off the steam, let him complete one, try to keep that clock stopped, but stayed in play on the catch made far side of the field by Young, and he has been active all night.
Yeah, these two-way players, and it's not the biggest bench either. It's not the biggest football team ever. Yeah, they just don't seem to get tired. They're well conditioned.
They don't get tired. They don't get rattled. If a play doesn't go their way, it doesn't kill a drive. A lot of short memory with this team, and it's seemingly paid off as Cooper out of the gun, a high snap. Keeping it himself is Fox. Ooh, he took a big hit to the knee there. And he gets back up around the 40 after a minimal gain. 3rd down. Raiders are going to end up calling timeout here.
And that's so important, too. That's such a cliche, but so few teams actually do that, just forgetting the previous play. Just having the memory of a goldfish.
Right.
Just, it's so cliche, and everybody thinks they can do it, but it's pretty rare in actuality and pretty important as well.
Now a 3rd down situation for the Raider D, forced to call their timeouts now, feeling that even with 4:13 to go, if they can force a 4th down or a stop of some kind, I still think they're going to run the football here or a quick pass and try to keep the clock running and force the Raiders to call one more timeout before punting it away. I shouldn't say punting it, maybe even going for it again, who knows. The Raider offense hasn't done much to scary it today, so you could still essentially go for it even on 4th down and just run more clock, get them to call the timeout, and who knows, if they get a 1st down, that'll fairly well kill the game within itself.
Yeah, you can kind of have the confidence of just playing to close out the game, knowing you have a 14-point lead, and if you don't get the 1st down, it's still a tall task.
Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. Welcome to Hastings. Yep. Yeah, we're glad to see it. We could use you on the hockey rink, actually, when we score. That'd be a lot better, a little more appropriate. Here's the pitch out, left side. Clemens had him in the backfield. Second stick, and that was the hit stick from Madden 24 as Creed Peterson just flew in there and speared him, and that'll stop him for fourth down. Another timeout, Raiders, and with 4:04 to go in this one, and then likely the regular season. It's still 22-8.
Yeah, and Fox slipped down on the play. I really wonder how this moisture is affecting the game, because I think things are a little...
I mean, up here, I don't even have soda in the top part of my cup, and this is all sweaty. And if you feel your papers, do you feel that?
Yeah,
unbelievable.
It's like a used napkin.
Yeah.
I think it's making it a little harder to wrap up later in the game, and the football a little slippery.
It rained earlier today, not for a long time, but it was enough to keep it where, and you hate to use the word humid in the fall when it's chillier, but it has that damp feel tonight. We talked about that before the game even started. Kind of how it's just a little bit weird, a little more humid than it usually would be at this time of the year. Fox is going to kill clock as much as he can, but the play clock was not going. Back to pass. Fox, he gets hit as he throws it, puts it up, and is he still going to complete this? Tipped around off two sets of hands. Vanderhoff ends up breaking up the pass, but boy, that thing was almost tipped into the hands of the receiver, and that could have been Williams' third touchdown of the game, and that would have been just as acrobatic as any of the others we've seen tonight. And
it's so crazy how Fox is nearly meeting his maker every single time he's throwing these balls, and yet they are just pinpoint accurate. Tremendous coverage there by the Raiders, obviously, but he had two chances to catch that ball.
The one thing about Fox is he's a senior in a very key spot. Now, you have a lot of other athletes that might be able to step in and give you some good stuff next season, but I'm curious what this kid's going to do next year.
Well, Hunter was saying that he was going to play football at Drake.
At Drake, okay. Well, that would make sense, and I don't know where they'll play him exactly, but as an athlete, you're going to find a spot for him. Horrible snap. Foss will go dive on it. You can see his body just slide on the wet turf.
It's a slip and slide out here.
That's the epitome of tonight's game. That's about all you can say or see. That kind of tells you everything you need to know.
And it's cold and moist, and it's drawing the heat away from your fingers, and your fingers are just like rocks, and it's hard to hold on to the ball.
Speaking of us being cold and everything, not sure why Cooper called this timeout with 3:40 to go. And
well, they were having some miscommunication with getting some personnel off the field.
So quick timeout. We don't know our opponent or even where we're going to play or if we're at home or on the road. Those questions will not be able to be answered until all games in our class have been played. Now, I am pretty sure, now someone's going to have to correct me if I'm wrong, that all games in 5A are finished tonight. I don't think there's a Thursday or Friday games because playoffs are scheduled to begin on Tuesday. So I don't think they want to put anybody at a disadvantage. I know that 6A is releasing their seeds on Prep Sports, Randy Shaver's Prep Sports show. They're going to have like a bracket release almost like March Madness. So I don't know if they're going to wait for us. We just don't know, fans. Stay tuned right here to HCTV. Tune into KDWA2. Trey will have more daily. Check it out. Here's the pass effort from Foss, nearly intercepted, caught at the 20 at the line of scrimmage. And that's caught by Cole Zion. 3:25 to go, third and forever, 3rd and 28. Raiders need to get to the 49-yard line for a first down. Snap, back to pass. Foss puts it up left. He had a man wide open, and he not only overthrew him, but threw it into the bench.
He is throwing a beautiful tight spiral. It's just there's no accuracy with some of these passes. You kind of wish he didn't throw as tight of a spiral if he could, like you were talking about Brad Johnson, just get the ball from A to B. It doesn't really matter how it looks.
No, it doesn't have to be pretty as long as you get it there. And a lot of frustration. Just because you're right before the playoffs, you still might back into a home game. But even if that's true, you got to be ready for Tuesday night, because what we saw tonight's not going to win you a game in Hastings. It's not going to win you a game at St. Thomas. It's not going to win you a game at the TCO Performance Center. As the Raiders this time, what a great effort by Foss. Is Matt Foss jumping up, trying to make a first down grab, and that should pretty well do it now, if it didn't already.
Will take over first and 10.
Yeah, you just have a hard time believing if they play like they played tonight that they're going to beat anybody, whether or not they're home or on the road. I mean, some things are going to have to obviously change if they want to get that win on Tuesday.
Time of possession has to be different. The Raider defense was out way too long. They had to do way too much, more than you'd ask any team, and they did for a majority of the night. Did just fine. Snap, Fox still in there, hands off. Not much room. Raiders with Zion with a Y and Clemens in there. Timeout called by Hastings, and this will expel their last timeout.
These Hawks players are taking an absolute beating, especially the offensive line. It seems like every other play an offensive lineman is down. They might be a little banged up for sections.
I don't care. I don't want to play them. Honestly, this team's going to be 6-2 going into playoffs. I mean, does their schedule look a little weird with some of their wins and losses? Sure. But after this tonight, and against a defense in a secondary that's not called Hastings, I don't see them not having any success in their section. I mean, I just see it to be an Armstrong-Cooper championship game.
Well, yeah, especially because there's really only two teams at the top of the section. They're both Robbinsdale, so their first game is going to be against one of those 1-6, 1-7 teams at the bottom, because there's no team in the middle in that section.
Owen and I will be watching from afar. There's no doubt. Nice job by the Raiders again. Good initial rush. Clemens again in there, causing problems. 2:48 to go. Clock runs. Fans continue to make their way out of the building.
Now, you've obviously been here a lot longer than me, but I don't think in my 4 years I've ever seen time on the clock and less fans in the stands than right now.
There's not many times. Maybe a couple games where you've had St. Thomas come in here and do what they do. Maybe one of our years we were, 1-7, or, we've had that. But this is, MEA is always the Wednesday night games are always tough on crowds. But still, I mean, just a rough night for Hastings. Fans, players, coaches, broadcasters alike. 2:05 to go here as they run out of play.
I mean, this city really yearns for this team.
That's what
to win. When this team wins, it's special.
Yep. And I talked to you about that before the game too, being a bleeding heart Raider, and it hurts to see the Raiders struggling when the struggles are only a play here or a play there. That's where I think it hurts more than any as alumni, or it's just make a couple of adjustments. But it's a matter of making those adjustments, or saying we need to make those adjustments and then going ahead and doing so.
Yeah, especially when they're self-inflicted. I mean, I don't think this is a good team, so I want to preface it with that, especially the defense.
Right.
I don't think this season would feel the same if they were just getting blown out and it wasn't a play here or there. You would just kind of go, well, the team's bad. Okay, it happens to every team. It is what it is. But I think it feels the way it does because a lot of these games, they pretty realistically could win if it was just a small adjustment here or a small adjustment there.
Well, let's be honest. You're going to be the team that gave Two Rivers their only loss of the regular season. You beat those guys, and they're going to get the 2 seed. It's like you're not that far off. It's not. It's a couple things, and unfortunately for the Raiders, those couple things are going to have them end with a 2-6 regular season record. And here's a Fox breaking, and then he just got absolutely hammered by Brady Nickel on the outside.
And he was stuck in between a rock and a hard place because he wanted to get the first down, but he also wanted to give himself up. And he just got plastered instead.
That's why there was no flag. That was football. And he wasn't really decisive in if he was trying to slide or if he was going to go ahead and dive or whatnot for the first down.
That's so tough for him because if the first down is just 2 yards shorter, it's easy. He has enough time to slide, but he's just in that weird middle ground.
Right, prone position is really what it ends up being. Elijah Schwannis will check into the game. He's also a backup quarterback. He'll line up as a linebacker, and I think we're going to get a timeout here. Or did he just kneel it? I think he kneeled it. Did he, or did he take the flag?
Well, play clock's
looks like he
running
kneeled it
here.
then. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, I guess you can't take the timeouts home with you, but
sure.
Yeah, I'll just take a knee here. Great way for them to end their season.
It's a good team, and you and I both. I mean, it was kind of a love fest for us watching a team like this. That you get a team that comes into your house, and many times you go, I'm walking out of this place going, I can't stand them. They always blah, blah, blah. Tonight, it's like, man, this is just a good team, and I'm just wishing them the best of luck. Coach Howard, the rest of their staff, their kids, their fans. Any of you that watch the game up on CCX Media, I'm very excited for all of you. I hope things go well here in the upcoming playoffs. There's no doubt that us here at HCTV, we're going to be cheering loud for your Cooper Hawks, and we thank you. Yeah, thank you, seniors. We had a couple of the parents yelling, thank you, seniors, in the final seconds of this one as the final knee is taken.
Got Corey Hamilton coming out. He's a senior coming out.
Some of those guys that we've known for a while. They might get another home game, but now it's in everybody else's hands. That'll do it for us as the clock ticks down. Dana Strain already making his way across the field. And he's actually going to stop and talk to the officials first, and that'll do it for us tonight as well. Final score, Cooper Hawks, they win by a score of 22-8. We'll take a look here at some of our post-game highlights here, Owen.
Yeah, scoring came at a premium pretty early, but there's Fox with a beautiful pass this year. This was the second passing touchdown they had, and I don't know how he did it. He was the magic man tonight, just slinging the rock, and here's the only touchdown by Hastings tonight. That little pass to Cloutier, all yards after catch, and they'd get the 2-point conversion after that to make it 8 points. And then here's the final touchdown of the game. Just another beautiful dime, man-to-man coverage there. And yeah, Fox, I mean, you can see why he's going to play D2 football next year. I mean, he's came down here to Hastings, and that's not a short drive, and losing on the road definitely stings. Losing at home definitely stings, but they played a good game, and their section is set up to where they're going to have a collision with the other Robbinsdale team, and see where that takes them.
Best of luck to the Hawks in the playoffs. We'll be following you from afar. Hopefully you're able to find a way to knock off that Armstrong squad and go on a little run. We definitely will be pulling for the black and orange as they hit the playoffs. For the Raiders, they end the regular season at 2-6. We'll be back on Tuesday, we hope, if it's at home for sure. Want to thank Hunter Pinky, of course, Owen Ely, the mailman. He's one of the best, if not the best around, and it's just nice to have him here with us. Will Saline, Mike Bramer, Ian Andrusak, Kurt Radke, some of the best cameramen around. You guys saw that here tonight. You watched the game. You saw how good they are. Hunter Pinky as well, doing all the graphics, the replay. There's a reason why HCTV is award-winning, and it's because of the people. The people put these games on the air, they direct them, they produce them, they make us look good, they make us sound good. So thank you to HCTV for a great regular season once again. I know that the record isn't exactly what we wanted it to be, and it sure wasn't the way we wanted to end the regular season, but they call the postseason the new season for a reason, and come Tuesday, no matter where the Raiders are at, who they play, or what time, they have to be ready to go. We'll have more on this as we gear up for the game. We'll let you know more on social media as to where and who and all the fun with the Raiders and who they'll play in the playoffs. Final score tonight, Cooper winning over Hastings 22-8. 6-2 Cooper. Raiders end their season at 2-6. For Owen Ely, I'm Nick Tubner. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening. Bye-bye, everyone.